Our institutions have become corrupt. Unconstitutional agencies are infringing on your rights. Your liberty was secured by strong men and women of yesterday. We live in the age of disinformation and corporate propaganda. You're an American, born with unalienable rights. Yet those rights are being trampled every day by unelected busybodies. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast with Jesse James and Outcast. Dangerous. Stay blessed in the battle.
If you've been paying attention, and I'm sure you have been, artificial intelligence is being thwarted upon us as they begin to usher in the transhumanism Internet of Things. But fear not. We're here to help you stay the course during this dystopian transition. Just stay human, brothers and sisters. Remember, stay human. This is the Dangerous Info Podcast with Jesse James and Brother Outcast.
Hey everybody, yes, it is July 20th, 2026. Welcome to the show tonight. We have episode 279, you guys. That's right. Climbing up, getting our way there, Outcast, is what I'm talking about tonight. On episode 279, we have the surveillance state of America. That's right. The flag still waves, but freedom doesn't. Not much anymore. This is America, land of the once free and home of the enslaved. I hate to say it, but that's the way we're headed right now. And I see everybody filing into all the chat rooms tonight. Good evening, everybody. It's good to have you all here on this crisp, clear. I don't want to say it's too warm. I don't want to say it's too cold. It's just a perfect night here in Southeast Michigan tonight. It's a great one. The humidity is gone. There's a little crisp air, a breeze in the air. This morning when I got out to work, Outcast, I was able to wear a hoodie for just a little while, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. So, cool breeze, sunshine is nice, grass is growing, tomatoes are coming in real nice. So, welcome to the show, everybody. What's going on, Outcast? What's happening, brother?
Hey, I'm here. I'm blessed in the battle, and I thank you again for having me as your co-host, Jesse. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you do it. Without having you here, it's it'd be a little tougher to do. I'm telling you, I'd have to re-strategize everything. But no, it's a good time. Even if we didn't have people here watching us and enjoying and participating in the show, it's almost like a I don't know. And that therapy is not the right word. It's like what is it? What's the right word?
No. I was gonna say therapeutic because last week I was in a funk last Monday, and as soon as we got rolling in, it cured it. I mean, I feel like I was participating in the show last week really pulled me out of a funk. So it's therapeutic. Yes.
Yeah. It feels the same to me too. It's like, you know what? I've got all this stuff, that I want to talk about and, all these things. What's this? GP Girl saying I tried to watch on Facebook, but there's no stream. So I'm watching on YouTube, but can't chime in. You got to log in if you're on YouTube. Outcast, we had a heck of a time with the streams last week, and this week Facebook is not going. I'll see if I can fire that up again, but I already checked all this stuff, and we'll see. We'll see what I can do. I'm going to try to refire. Keep checking the Facebook. Maybe it'll pop in. Who knows? But last week, therapeutic is the right word. Thank you, Shelly Pollock. I see everybody's chiming in here. We have somebody new here in the Rumble. Fisher J68. Hello. Catharsis. That's a good word too, Outcast. I like that word. And, I would love to be able to, turn something on that you're, I'm talking about for myself. I'm a fan of words that not a lot of people use that are not common everyday words. The problem is I can't remember them. You know what I'm saying, right? Because I want to use big words and not too big for me, not too big for my britches. Not what I'm saying, because I'm not that kind of guy. But when I listen to smart, high IQ people, I am envious of that, because that's not me, right? I have different ways that I work, and so the word catharsis, dang it, I know I'm going to forget it tomorrow, but I want to use it in everyday sentences, right? So I don't know.
So if I'm not mistaken, catharsis is from cathartic. So give you an idea. Sometimes something that's can be viewed as challenging is also rewarding. It's cathartic, or maybe even some pain can feel like a release. Like when in the past when I was going through something difficult and I got some tattoos, I found it cathartic. I found it like it was like the pain just was like being released. I know that I needed Jesus more than I needed ink, but in fact, now I'm starting to realize maybe I got some of my heavy metals in my system from ink. But
that's yes, Kid. Let's mark that. We got to mark that. I'm gonna write that down. Keep going.
Yeah. So catharsis is that's when he threw that in there. That's a good word. I usually use the word cathartic, but catharsis is probably the process of cathartic. Maybe, I don't know. So that's a good word. I like catharsis too.
That makes sense.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it looks like Marie Locke, she says Facebook is hooked up now and it's working. So welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Fisher says, I think catheter. Yikes. I don't think catheter, but I never want to think catheter.
Yeah, Jesse, last week's episode, it felt like a catheter for me.
Yeah, for sure. It was painful as a catheter, I'm thinking.
Especially when it wasn't working, when the stream wasn't working.
Yeah,
it was like a catheter.
And I think that she's the same route. I think that last week's the opening before Charlie got on, everything was fine. Everything was working good. All of a sudden, your mic just stopped. We couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it, but the audience could. It was a complete wreck. I had to restart everything. This is just a little rundown from last week, you guys. The audio, I was able to clean up the audio very well, and it worked. And so I'm not sure if anybody in the audio side was able to recognize the mess that we were in, but everybody on the live video side said too. Amber Dawn says, wow, that would not be the same. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a little different for me thinking about the word. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
And Marie Locke, I was in Grosse Pointe this morning. So.
Oh, were you doing some work stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also stopped at the, I think it's called is it the Milk Bar? Oh, not the Milk Bar. What is it called? The Chocolate Cafe to get my wife some chocolate. So.
Nice.
I don't eat a lot of it, but there's a legendary place there. It's owned by a family called the Alanosi family, and they do really good chocolate. And they have ice cream and homemade cake, and they have everything. I'm not a sweet guy, but that for my wife, I stopped there and get chocolate from them. Maybe I bet you Marie Locke knows where that place is at. It's just north of 8 Mile, I think.
That sounds delicious, Outcast. I'm not a big sweets guy like that. What will trip me up will be ice cream and dark chocolate. Those two things right there will just get me like that. Yeah, I got to a little moderation. I got to work out because I like ice cream. So
okay, so check this out. I got to tell you this one. So my dad was most people my age's grandparents' age, because my dad had me late in life. So he grew up. He was born right in the middle of the Depression, and they were poor. I mean, very, very poor people. So he said, when he was a kid, a real treat would be his mother would take fresh picked blueberries, pour cream on it, and a sprinkle of sugar, and he was like heaven.
Yeah.
So I tried it as an adult, and it was amazing. So recently, as a cheat, I had a little small thing of vanilla gelato, and I put fresh blueberries in it, and I ate a blueberry with a bite of gelato, and it was pretty close. It was pretty good.
That sounds pretty good to me. You know what works for me is just bananas and blueberries together. Just throw them in a bowl and just eat it with a spoon. That combination of just bananas and strawberries, together with nothing on them, just like that. That works for me too. That'll get that crave and take care of that. So, there's so many tricks out there. But we have the farm dairy not too far from here, the cows and all that stuff, and they have the best ice cream in the world. Don't go a mile near there; you'd be just elbow deep in ice cream. It's crazy. I love it.
I'll do a little vanilla ice cream here and there, but I'm not seeking it out all the time. But yeah, I do like ice cream. Yeah. Nope, I was up in Holly a couple weeks ago, and the old Battle Alley of Holly.
Oh yeah, that's there's a cool little spot back in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little ice cream stand in there, and I got a little scoop of vanilla. Their vanilla was amazing. It was really good. So if you're in that area, you should check it out.
Yeah, real vanilla bean and all that, man. That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, the lattes and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm getting bigger on lattes right now. Right now, I'm drinking one. I made one myself right here in our Blessed in the Meadow mug right here. Yeah,
Marie Locke has got the hookup for you. She's telling you where to go for a latte.
That's way too far for me.
Not if you come visit me first.
All right. Well, maybe so. I'll have to bring my guns with me. Crazy down there.
20 minutes from my house.
All right. Well, we'll go to the range or something and get a latte after that.
All right. Just letting you know.
All right. I'm down with that. Hey, listen, we have a lot of stuff going on, you guys. We're going to get into our Twitter and Facebook bookmarks, things that I've saved that I think are interesting on the show. We have some other things. Oh, look who's in there watching live.
Oh, Sister Rita.
Sister Rita, what's going on?
We love you, sis. Sorry, we haven't seen you in a minute. Sorry, we've been quiet.
She's on her lunch break, so we'll get a few minutes there. Music Lover says, in Wisconsin, we have frozen custard. The best. Yeah, frozen custard. That's crazy. All that stuff. It's like I'm saying, I have to, if I don't work out, then that's the only reason I'm eating sweets, because I got to work out to eat sweets. That's it. If not, yeah, we can do a meetup. Marie Locke says, yeah, we talked about doing some sort of a show meetup somewhere, for Dangerous Info Family or whatever. But cool. Yep, love you too, Sister Rita. Good to see you out there. We're have to get her back on the show too. So listen, we need to talk about a bunch of things. All right, there's a bunch of things. The main show that we're going to end with, this is probably going to be around the flock stuff. We've done flock shows before, but now this whole flock talk is just, everybody's talking about it now, right? And, we remember that I brought the DFlock website on the show. This was months ago, Outcast. I said, hey, you guys, there's these cameras that are watching us, and there's this website that tells you where they are, and you can locally look and all that. We did that show a long time ago, but now it's like, it's everywhere. The flock stuff is in the news. Surveillance, watching over us. Yeah, it's in the news. So, let me see. We have.
So that's on your docket. We're going to come back to that. We're going to.
We'll come back to that because I think that's going to be the main thing. But we have to talk about this evil lettuce that's going on right now, and what people are calling it. Diarrhea lettuce. That's what they're calling it, right? And it's crazy because it's only hitting certain parts of the country. Now, I sent something to our text earlier, and I said, I don't think it's the lettuce. And there's even an article that I had, and it was on my phone, and I think I sent it to you. Remember that image, that still image? I just sent it just a few hours ago. Oh, boy.
I have a couple screenshots. You want me to send them to you? Of the...
Yeah, well, I have a video to play, but there's that one that I sent earlier today, and... Oh, right there. FDA. This is from says national. FDA says positive cyclospora test linked to lettuce outbreak was a false alarm. Has anybody read that yet?
I saw that from you this morning.
Okay. So they're saying that, because the FDA has been doing some testing on that stuff, and they're saying no, it was a false alarm on that. They're just blaming it on that. And I do have a link of it over here. So let me prep this up. And what did you have? Because I'm going to prep this real quick. And what did you have to say on that? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that in the past, there has been an ongoing issue with a company called Taylor Farms, I think is what they're called. And they supply to all the cheapest lettuce to all the big chain stores like Taco Bell. Okay. Taylor, from my understanding, Taylor Farms uses human waste to fertilize their crops, which isn't that unusual. A lot of places might do a version of that.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it.
I know, me neither. But in the past, it usually comes back to Taylor Farms. But what you have uncovered here is far more compelling to me than that, especially when you consider how well it ties into other things. So I'll spare you. I won't give up your narrative here. But Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't gotten it. My wife hasn't gotten it. We've been eating lettuce from the grocery store. I don't get it. I haven't seen anybody haven't seen anybody poop themselves in the public yet. Like I was hearing about it. It sounds like it could be just yet another fear mongering campaign in some levels.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Or is it's covering for something else? Because what I did find, let me show you guys this right here. I did find it on this other screen. Let's bring it up here. So we're talking about this doo-doo lettuce stuff here, and the FDA says it's a that the positive cyclospora test linked to lettuce outbreak was a false alarm. And this is from the Michael Ramsey, and this comes to us from WLNS.com. All right, and I know there's going to be tons of ads in here. I don't have an ad blocker going on, but News Nation says the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said Sunday night, that was yesterday, that a sample shredded iceberg lettuce produced by Taylor Farms subsidiary in Mexico that tested positive for cyclospora was a false alarm. Here's a quote, due to the complexity of the detection of the cyclospora, FDA laboratory experts reviewed the sample results and have concluded that the finding does not represent true amplification and should be considered a false positive. You know what? That makes me think, are they using the PCR test? If they run it too high, they're going to test and get everything, just like they did and needed for the other outbreak that they gave to us in 2020, the false one.
Wuhan flu.
Yeah,
the Wuhan flu.
The sneeze. Yeah. So he says the information about the sample has been removed from the July 18th, 2026 update. FDA has notified Taylor Farms and continues working with the firm to ensure product implicated in this outbreak has been removed from the market. FDA and state partners continue to collect and analyze product samples. It says on Saturday night, the agency had stated that the sample of head of lettuce tested positive for cyclospora. According to the FDA, the contaminated sample was collected during the agency's ongoing outbreak investigation and tested positive for cyclospora, a microscopic parasite that causes severe intestinal illness and due to lettuce. All right. The agency said Taylor Farms has conferred the implicated product is not included in the current recall. They are currently working to identify whether any part of this implicated lot is available in commerce or in consumer homes. So it goes on, but here's the Taylor Farms recall, shipped to 27 states. But yet we have, the most severe states are those purple ones. So, in the blue. So Michigan looks like it got hit hard. Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, New York, North Carolina. And then all the other ones are a little bit less than that. But you see how it's concentrated right there, Outcast, in the middle of the Midwest, right? And look at New York over there. You see how all those clustered states are there.
Yep.
What if I told you that there might be something else that might be causing the doo-doo lettuce?
My mind is open.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to go to this other screen. And if...
while you're doing that, Rita Wilson says, the government lies so much, I can't keep up. Ain't that the truth?
Isn't that the truth? Oh, isn't that the truth? Let me see here. Where is the... Okay, right here. Now, I'm going to have to turn this volume down on this because we'll get hit and YouTube does not like it, Outcast. So when we go to it, I'm going to have to quickly turn the volume down. What I'm going to show you guys, right? It says, should we talk about what's really going on? This has nothing to do with lettuce. Now, remember those states, the upper Midwest, all the way across to New York, right? With Michigan being hit the hardest with this lettuce stuff. I'll try to catch this audio right now. There we go. Do you guys see that? It's a really fast. It's come on. I don't know why it keeps giving me the volume. We're not supposed to do it.
The same regions of doo-doo fever are the same areas of the forest fire smoke.
That's right. That's right, you guys. Look at that. Now I'm going to go back to this one. All right, you see that? It's the same states. happening around the same time. Look at that. We're being covered. It's the same states. Now, somebody here says this has nothing to do with the lettuce. These diarrhea outbreaks, saying it could be possibly what is coming down from Canada, and that all that smoke, that whatever that was.
Doo-doo smoke.
Doo-doo smoke. Canadian doo-doo smoke. Right.
Canadian fecal fire. No,
right.
That is really compelling. I really love this. This is really, man, ain't that something?
Look, it's the same states. And then you have the FDA here saying, no, that was a complete, it was misled on that. Crazy, man. Look at that, you guys. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? You guys in the live chats can see it. I have both maps right here going, and it's the exact same spots at the same time.
To me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're saying there's so much microscopic particles that can negatively affect your health in that smoke.
Yeah. I know. And you know what's funny is my one of our daughters asked us the other day. She said, "Hey, did you guys have all these fires growing up?" I said, "No, this is something new. This is brand new. This is something going on here." Think about it. In the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, Canada did not have these fires going on right here. Now, I'm going to attribute that to quite a bit of things. It's what's going on out there in, say California, Northern California, and all the fire or in the forests and all that stuff. It's the same mismanagement. And when I say mismanagement, I mean intentional mismanagement of these fires or these forests. Typically throughout history, we'd have our forestry service, forestry management and all that stuff go out there, and they would clean up all that fallen underbrush, right? Because it was just the thing to do, and it's smart. Instead of letting all that dead debris lay up underneath there, it creates those intense fires. Plus whatever's coming down from the sky, we have that to add into the mix, all the metals and the bariums and the aluminums and all those things. They create really, really hot fires, right? Well, you go into look in the Agenda 2030 and the United Nations Sustainable Development stuff. Well, they want to rewild everything, rewild all these areas, get the humans out of there. And what they say is let it go back to nature, right? That's one of their 17 sustainable development goals is to rewild nature again and get us off the land, put us in the cities, and they can enjoy the land. Okay, that's what they want. Oh yeah, orbital directed energy weapons involved. Yeah, probably to at least to ignite them. Because remember last year, Outcast. Remember we had the same type of Canadian quote wildfires, and we watched the time lapse photo, and they all started at the same time, and they're all over Ontario. Remember that? They all started at the exact same time. You can watch that radar fire up. Go ahead.
And this all started after COVID.
Yeah,
it's been every summer since COVID. They've been doing this.
Yeah.
A weird feeling I've had too over and over again is, of course, this is to somebody might sound paranoid, but it seems like every single weekend, maybe it's an exaggeration, but most weekends, there's an adverse weather event that makes it more advantageous to stay inside than go outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every weekend. And ever since COVID, I've gotten this really weird suspicion that they don't want us leaving the house. They don't want us out. So the red pill cube types were saying, they needed us to stay inside while they rounded up the elites, or I don't know if I believe that or not. But my greater point is it does seem like they don't want us out beyond working.
Well, they don't want us out there talking to people and learning and being, cordial and neighborly and all those things that go along with the face-to-face interaction. They don't like that because they can't control that. They want people interacting through electronic devices. They can actually have effect on that. You know what I'm saying? So, I get it, Outcast.
They don't want us to wake anybody up. Yeah, no, but I mean, it's like even in this spring, it would be nice during the week, and then the weekend would roll around, we'd have inclement weather. And it happened over and over again. And then here summer breaks. We're like, okay, it's the heat of summer, and now we got to stay inside because there's weather. The smoke is toxic. We're like, seriously? Now I got to stay inside now that it's summer. So it felt like that too. And the punishment,
stay in, save lives, right? All that crap.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, like Fisher over here on your Rumble saying, yeah, just like the junkyards. Remember when they were lighting those junkyards up just a few weeks back? Remember all those junkyards? They were, torching those because, they're after the cars too. They don't want us out here fixing the old cars up that can run without all their electronic nonsense. So, they got to go after everything that keeps us free and makes us free. And, I like the old vehicles, Outcast, because you can get in there, turn the key, and it's all mechanical. Very little bit of electronics in there. These new ones, again, we've talked at length about these new vehicles that are coming. And just another, they're prison products is what these are. Yeah.
And if I may, I want to go back to the forest fires just for a second, add a couple little layers to things you mentioned. One thing I want to point out is that when you spray cadmium and barium on the soil, and I've heard that part of Canada was being hit very hard by chemtrails.
Yeah.
That gets in the soil, and then that gets sucked up into the trees through the root system when it rains, and it makes the trees extra flammable.
Yeah.
And there were videos of like straight up fire tornadoes, and they were saying that they've never seen fires burning in all directions like this before. It's like almost like it was just out of control. The other thing too about the forestry part, about the lack of forestry services to keep the underbrush down. Another explanation I heard from a First Nations woman, an account on Instagram I heard, she said that Native Americans would actively participate in controlled burns to keep forest fires down. And the new guy, what's his name? Is his name Doug?
Yeah.
Took over for, I'm trying to
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But they said they've stopped the natives from doing controlled burns and doing forestry work that they used to always do for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
There's another aspect to this too. The logging industry feels that it's better for the trees to grow taller and stronger if there's less underbrush.
Yeah.
And they went through and sprayed glyphosates on all the leafy underbrush. So then that made it into a tinderbox too. So not only is the glyphosate's flammable, but also when you brown the plant, it's actually, burn faster too. So it's a several point attack, but it all had the same results, which is uncontrollable wildfires. Now, I think it's also noteworthy that there's wildfires in, Norway, and there's Scotland.
Currently. Yeah.
And it's like, they've never seen anything like this before in their lives.
Yeah.
And everything's on fire. Now, is it the chemtrails? The heavy metals? Maybe. Is it something else? It's possible. And then down in Venezuela, where the earthquake was, fire is coming up through the cracks in the ground where there was, where the earth cracked open in the earthquakes. What's up with that? Yeah. So it's far out.
Oh, this is craziness. What? Hang on one second. It seems like, again, we're being targeted. Our countries, our forest, our way of living outside, being free and all that stuff is being targeted. They do not want us being out there doing the things that we normally would grow up doing, getting our Coleman lanterns, going out there and camping and fishing and doing all these things, think about things that we didn't need a license for 100 years ago. It still should be the same way. You're telling me I can't go out there and catch a fish without asking permission of somebody that sits in the office over there? No. Could you imagine them telling George Washington, you can't catch that fish unless you pay somebody? He would have shot them right there in the face, right?
Right.
What?
Right.
Get out of here. Yeah.
You're a tyrant. Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. It makes me so mad. Yeah, controlled burns, they're great. The park that's right down the road from me, one of these county parks, Outcast, they do all the controlled burns every spring. They did them earlier. They talk about when they're going to do it. I've done controlled burns before with some people up where we used to hunt, and they're pretty cool. As long as you have your the equipment out there to make sure that you don't go past the parts you want burned up. But yeah, controlled burns, they can be fun. And they don't get all crazy, as long as you have the right equipment around, and so you got to have a controlled burn. It's nice to do that every now and then. Like what's her name? Who is it? Oh, Ms. Melody. She says controlled burns are also great for pest control. Yeah, getting rid of all those boxes of ticks that suddenly showed up in all the fields. Let's control burn that thing. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what you guys thought about this, the doo-doo lettuce and the doo-doo smoke, but I don't know. I just threw that out there because I saw them both together come out today, and I was like, you know what? That makes more sense I haven't eaten lettuce in a long time. I don't know. And I haven't gotten affected by anything. I've worked in the smoke, all this stuff just last week, and I don't know. But they want us to know something, Outcast. They're telling us stories about stuff. That's what I'm saying. Dawn Gaylor says over on Facebook, she says, directed energy weapons do. Yes, they are going to come after us as hard as they can right now. Yeah, they're just, they've got all the weapons, right? And they don't like us finding out about these weapons. I like, what's his name over on YouTube? I like watching him. He does all the stuff about the movements of the strange earthquakes and the strange happenings across, well, especially in our country. Starts with a D. We talked about him here in the show quite a bit before, Outcast. He does all the research on when the storms are hitting, where they're hitting, the timing and all this stuff. Oh, I forgot his name. He's got a good channel out there, though. But it's the same thing as they all pop up. I'm eager to see what it's going to be like this year's hurricane season. At the end of summer through November and all that. I'm kind of eager to see what they're going to try to bring to us this time, and which hurricanes are going to park themselves in one spot for a few hours and stay and do 90-degree turns and turn around and come back, instead of going on a natural, normal trajectory. There's always one of these hurricanes that they make do a silly dance or go to a place that it never has gone in the past, What's your thought?
I got to share this with you too. My wife did her own reconnaissance on the smoke, on the fires.
Okay.
And she saw an interesting correlation to the location of the fires and the location of the lithium mines.
Oof. That makes sense. Dutch sense.
When we looked when we looked it up, it's all right. When we looked it up, it did sound as if fires, forest fires can be a result of lithium mining.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Let's throw that right in the hopper. There's so many of these things. Yeah. Dutch Sense over on YouTube. That's who I was talking about. Thank you, Fisher. That Dutch Sense is a good channel. You guys might want to check that out for getting weather pattern stuff. And, he sees the dew weapons come in there on those. That was crazy. Remember we saw those a few years ago. It's like, look at this. Just, you can see what looks like a laser come down and fires start up right there. The Dutch Sense was catching all that stuff in those radars.
And, also too, another thing I've heard about the Canadian wildfires is where the First Nations people are at that are being evacuated and may not be allowed to return to their homes at all.
Right.
There are huge copper deposits in the ground, which the copper is being used for the data centers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the unnatural hurricane that hit North Carolina, and that sits on top of lithium deposits.
Yeah.
And then we look at what happened to Maui, and that once again, you've got indigenous people that refuse to sell their land because they're devoted to keeping it in the family in that part of the world, and they got burned off of Maui. So there's a reoccurring theme here.
I wonder if has anybody checked in on what's going on there in North Carolina lately? I haven't seen much. Yeah, Dutchins. Thanks, Ionic Mike. Ms. Melody's having dinner tonight, or salad for dinner tonight. Good luck.
Sorry.
Just don't smell the smoke. Yeah. Yeah, fires don't naturally begin in a straight line across hundreds of miles. Yeah, naturally they do not. But if you make it happen, well, that's the result you can get. Yeah, that's music lover over there. I get it, man. It's crazy, but so we made that connection between the Canadian smoke and the Taco Bell lettuce, right? Questions all about that. Now you had another one. We talked pre-show a little bit about this. Some people you were talking to at work, wasn't it? Was it a customer of yours that was telling you a story? So I want to hear a little bit about this, Outcast, because I think it's pretty good, and it does have, it reminds me of the story we just did here. So what was that all about?
Well, so it's interesting. I had in the last couple of days. One was last Thursday. I'm going to tie into this conversation, and one was just today. One of my doctors, she's a brilliant woman, and she was reading I think she leans liberal too. So that's where it gets a little dicey. But she was saying that there's a new study out that she read, and it included, I think it was Switzerland and Portugal. And they did an extensive study, and she says she's noticing it from the eye exam chair too. that people are younger and younger people are coming in with dementia, fluid in their eyes, which would indicate that somehow their veins are leaking. They're also, when your pupils dilate and when it's dark and then they shrink back down when it's bright, that is being delayed. There are more and more people coming in where their pupils don't dilate in a proper speed.
Right.
And it's very alarming. She said it's very, very scary to consider the level of, what's what I'm looking for, neurological damage that would have to occur for that to happen. And the study proved it's all increased since COVID. Now, the reason it's noteworthy to her is because for a while they've been blaming it on younger people using devices from childhood and it having a negative effect on the eyes.
I don't believe it.
But she says, no, it's not like that. There were kids using phones before that. This has all escalated since quote unquote COVID. But from our perspective, I could say, is it since COVID or since the vaccines were rolled out? Which ties into my next story.
Yep.
So I stopped in a new customer. There's a double whammy here. Customer that I've been calling on for years, and I went in to see her, and she wasn't there. I'm like, oh, where's Denise? And they said, yeah, we had to take her out of the optical because, we're letting her work for a while, but she's got like this turbo dementia. This dementia is just like, they didn't use that word turbo, but came out of nowhere. And she's even given up trying to drive. She's got to have somebody bring her in, and we're going to let her work as long as she wants to. But the only job she has is from taking the patient from the waiting room to the exam room. And can't even get that right. She's taking people into the wrong rooms. It's bad.
Wow,
but what's crazy is I was working with her up about six or 8 months ago, and I didn't notice anything. Now, the gal I was working with was new to me, and we hit it off right away. She told me, I'm paraphrasing a very, very long story, but she told me that her father, and her son all got the vaccines. And she said they all have blood clots. Her dad has had multiple strokes. She has blood clots all over her body, but most notably, she had one in her foot, or two in her foot, I should say, that she almost lost her foot. And the reason she almost lost her foot was because not a single doctor she went to could diagnose it. They kept brushing it off and sending her here and sending her there. At one time, they accused her of trying to pander for pain medication because her foot was starting to die and it was hurting. She could not get properly diagnosed. It took months to sort out, and she almost lost her foot in the process. Her son, who is a football player, actually one of his good buddies that he played college football with, went on to be a pro football player. She said his name was Michael Jordan, the football player, Michael Jordan.
I know that feller.
Okay.
I know her son of them fellers.
She said her son is friends with him, and they played football together. She said, my son's an athlete. He's like a natural born, linebacker. She said he got winded going to his girlfriend's apartment up and down the stairs, and and it kind of freaked him out. He had 4 blood clots in his lung.
Wow.
So from turbo dementia to doctors looking at studies, but what I thought was interesting was, and I kind of hashed out with you, it's just like, so is it an effect from COVID or is it an effect from the vaccines? Now, to shore up the doctor's viewpoint that it's from COVID, I will tell you this. I have I'm going to say an extended family member, somebody, she's not bloodline to my family, but we treat her like family. We love her like family. Very, very bright businesswoman. And she has been falling off the radar and not being able to work long-term because of cognitive issues. And she's not that old either. She's like maybe in her early 60s, if that, maybe late 50s. So, a lot going on here in this ramble I'm giving you guys, but it's all anecdotal, but true stories I'm hearing from people. So 3 to 5 years. Dr. Sean Brooks said 3 to 5 years, the jab rollout would be seeing things like this. Yeah. Yep.
We're seeing it for sure. Yep.
This doctor I met with today, she said she's not one to exaggerate and she's not one to get overly excited. She's a very chill individual, and she was visibly shook by the story. She's like, I'm telling you, I'm seeing stuff that I don't think I should be seeing in people this young.
Yeah.
So all kinds of stuff that she can see inside the eyes that's not right.
It makes, we weren't crazy when we told people not to do this during that whole scamdemic. We knew when it was being rolled out. I was like, no, you guys don't fall for this. Please don't fall for this crap. And, now that we're seeing what's happening afterwards. And, that article that she had mentioned, It was an article, right? That she got this from.
Yes, it was actually, I think I'm trying to remember the name of I don't think it was National Geographic, but it was from a highly reputable mainstream scientific magazine. And she said to her, it just codified what she was observing from the chair in people already.
Okay.
And she said that the pupil thing, she's seen it, their pupil's not working properly.
Yeah.
And young people coming in saying that they have nighttime glare when they're too young to be saying that.
Yeah.
She said it's alarming. She goes, this is very, very alarming.
I've heard of people talking about that too, younger ones. And now of course we have people out there trying to remedy themselves of that. There's so many different options now where people can actually go and try to reverse some of this stuff. But I believe that once that spike protein is in there, it's just replicating itself. And there are products out there that seem to help, but I don't know if it'll ever be able to be fully removed from the body. And there's a lot of us now out here. If you're going to get tested, there's a lot of people who didn't get the vaccines, and they're showing up with these the dirty things in their blood, and it's really ticking people off.
I just saw another article the other day, or like a video, and this guy was showing this piece of brisket that he cooked.
Oh, I saw that. Horrible.
And keep inside going. was a big, crazy, spider webby blood clot, or it was like, I don't even know what to call it.
Well, it was the white tubular type of growth thing that they were calling clots, but they look exactly like what that Dr. Richard Hirschman was pulling out of the cadavers. Remember, he said trying to embalm them, and he couldn't embalm them all the way. So he started pulling out these growths that were inside their veins. And it looked identical into that. Yeah, that was so. That means are they putting it in our food or in our animals? Well, yes. Remember, we had talked about that too. The white gelatinous things. Yeah, but they're like tubular, tubular kind of growth things. It's gross.
They look like it's the vascular system, like a tree root, but it's rubbery. It looks like the color of silly putty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, Music Lover brings up a whole nother rabbit hole. She says, I'm still waiting for them to call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes here in the States. Yeah, it's a great point.
Right.
Because it's exactly what it is. It's linked to diabetes.
Yeah.
Totally tubular. All right. Now she's
yeah. I like the 80s references. That's awesome. So I don't know, man. Keep an eye on it. It's just it's almost like, man, I had this conversation the other day with one of my customers, right? And what did we talk? We got into the point of the whole flock stuff. We got into all the surveillance and all the things that they're going to make us do, and digital IDs that are coming in, the world one world religion type of stuff and world governance. And he says, man, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down or anything. And and all these people are awake now, and it seems like it's still rolling on. I said, yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. I said, remember, right out of the book of Revelation, it said we're going to go through all these things. I don't think that we are going to be able to thwart it. We're going to have to go through it. And that's where I believe, Outcast, that we're going to have there's choices have to be made, because we're going to go into these things where I don't see us stopping them, is what I'm saying. I see them just steamrolling right over top of us. We're going to be put into these digital gulags, these prison planet type of thing. And we're going to have to follow what we learned from the book of Revelation. What's your thoughts on that? When I told him that, I said, dude, I don't think we're going to be able to stop it. We can grow our own food and do all these things, but at some point, yeah, go ahead.
Well, not coming from a biblical standpoint, but from a Project Looking Glass standpoint, I do think that and I felt like this for a while, and I felt like this after COVID, that they woke so many of us up, and they know it, and now they're going for the kill shot. They want to thin the herd. They want less people to control. So they're absolutely reckless right now and genocidal. They're willing to destroy a lot of things on this planet, including us, to not be held accountable, to to continue doing what they're doing, and they'll just start over again as another reset. Yeah. How it fits in biblically, I like to think if this is the end of the world, or if this is the end of this world before the new one starts under Christ, I've been all over the board. I'm starting to lean back towards there is a rapture. I cannot imagine, being sealed with the mark of Christ through the Holy Spirit, and him leaving us to those who he knows and who love him to perish in this. Right. I don't know what that's going to look like exactly, but I mean, what an incredible time to be alive if that's the case. We're the generation that will not die, but be taken up. So if anybody's in earshot of me right now and listening, if you have not surrendered your heart to Christ, what do you got to lose? If I'm wrong, nothing happens. But if I'm right, you do not want to be left behind to what Jesse's talking about that you will have to face, because it will be, it'll be Orwellian times 1,000. They're going to, because now they know exactly who's who. They're gonna know that I posted something negative about a certain country where people wear little beanies. They're gonna know that they're gonna know everything about who said what. Yeah. And when they come, they're gonna come with a vengeance. It's gonna be ugly. So listen, if you surrender your heart to Jesus and there's nothing to it, and you die, then you die. That's fine. You win. You're an atheist. You won the game. But if I'm right and you're wrong, you've got way more to lose than I do. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but
no, it's good. I think this is a perfect time to roll into our mid show opening prayer, Outcast, because let's get it done. Let's get over with. We have it's just before 8:00 right now, and on the other side of your prayer, I want to come back and talk about our affiliate item of the week, because it seems like it all is melding together. Our affiliate item, what you're talking about, what we just talked about this last hour here. So let's bow our heads into the mid opening prayer, Outcast.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Jehovah Rapha, Lord of heaven and earth, Lord, we love you and we worship you and we praise your name, and we cannot thank you enough for every gift and every blessing that you bestowed upon us. There are things that you delivered us from, dangers that we didn't even know we were in. You have been there for us through every aspect of our lives, through the highs and the lows always prepared us for a high. Lord, we thank you for your just reaching out to us and calling out to us through other people, sending encouragers, sending messengers, trying to soften our hard hearts and trying to humble us to get to the point where we will turn and surrender our hearts to you, to find the true blessings of life, rather than trying to find all the things of this world to try to gratify ourselves and coming up empty every time. We thank you for pursuing us when we were running from you. And we thank you for showing us that the fence we were sitting on was owned by the devil, the enemy. We thank you for every revelation, every wisdom and discernment that you've ever given us, every intuition, everything that has guided us through this battlefield that we are in, called life on earth post-Adam. Lord, we cannot thank you enough. You've always been there for us. But Lord, I want to pray for anybody out there who's seeking and searching and they just can't seem to find what they're looking for. Lord, I pray that they will hear this prayer right now and understand the one thing that they're missing is the one thing they've been running from. I pray that whoever is in earshot right now that needs to hear this will surrender on their knees to Jesus. They don't have to understand everything. That will be revealed as they walk in the walk. But in the short term, in a show of faith, not proof, but faith, they will surrender their heart to Jesus, be grafted into the family of Abraham through his shed blood, and start to experience what true life feels like when you have your hand on somebody and they allow you to guide them step by step, day by day. You might not show them the entire course of their journey, but you will illuminate their next step, and then the step after that, and the step after that. And suddenly their burden feels less burdensome. The weight feels lighter because Jesus is sharing that burden with them. Lord, we pray for anybody out there who feels like they are under attack right now. There's so many people who are followers of you, who feel like they're under some level of spiritual attack. Lord, please remind each and every single one of us in those unique and subtle ways that you do, that with each battle, they're being trained up to be a higher level warrior for your kingdom, not to be despondent or distressed by the attacks, but rather take it as a sign that they are on the right path. Help them to understand that when they are attacked, it means they are on the right side of this battle between light and dark, and that you are with them and you are strengthening them and you are training them up as an elite warrior. Lord, I rebuke in the name of Jesus Christ anybody that's struggling with a spirit of fear, a spirit of anxiety, a spirit of unnecessary, financial concerns, a spirit of anger or resentment, a spirit of rejection from their past. Lord, we pray that everybody that has experienced anything like this, that in the name of Jesus Christ, it be cast out and leave their home now. We plead the blood of Jesus Christ over our homes and every listener's homes, from the crowns of our head to the soles of our feet, from the chimney top to the foundations of our homes, to the furthest extent of the boundaries of our properties. May there be a mighty hedge of protection that the enemy is afraid of, that the enemy flees when it sees us, because it knows that we are covered, we are armored with your love, we are armored with your precious blood, and that they cannot attack us. May no weapon formed against us prosper. Lord, I pray for anybody out there who is in need of healing right now, maybe an ongoing health issue. Maybe they took the vaccine and they regret it and they have health issues. Maybe they're struggling with addiction. Maybe they're struggling with unforgiveness in their heart. Whatever it is, Lord, we pray that you will meet them right where they were at and help them to take the first steps to verbalize with their mouth a rejection of those things, a desire to walk in denial of the body and the flesh, what that desires, but do a walk with you as a true bride of Christ. Lord, we thank you for answered prayers everywhere. My household, we're celebrating a couple of them right now. Just incredible answered prayers, Lord. Several weeks ago, I prayed for Tony Miranda's dad, James Miranda. I just got a report that he's doing fantastic, Lord. I did not foresee him getting better. And Lord, we thank you for my friend Saudi at church, who had a brain surgery from a blood clot that she got from the vaccine. That sounds like that went very well. So thank you for answered prayers. And we thank you for the prayers that sometimes you answer by saying, no, I'm not doing that right now. We know that you are sovereign and that you see the big picture and we don't, and we trust you in this journey. We love you, Lord. Anoint this episode, anoint Jesse's thinking, my thinking, the words that come from our mouths. Anoint the listeners. May they find our words edifying, and may you move throughout this episode and protect us from the attacks of the enemy, digital or otherwise. I pray all these things in Jesus Christ's holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen, brother. Thank you. You know, we got quite a few people here in the chats while you were saying your prayer. Music Lover, she says, first of all, 50 minutes in and we're doing the prayer, the opening prayer. Yeah. Hey, it happens sometimes. But we have a new one here too. Also, we have it looks like Carolyn Gannon. Yeah, Carolyn Gannon on YouTube. She says everything is propaganda and idolatry against the Father Yahuwah. Above Satan owns everything. He deceived the whole world from the beginning. We've been indoctrinated into society to comply. That is exactly right.
Yes.
She also says, we are the target. We are the target. It is written in stone. Esau is the end of the world. Yep. And this one I like, Outcast. Check this out. Israel is a people, not a nation. They created religion for division and control to keep us from knowing the truth and who our Father is and who we are in him alone. That's very important. Israel is a people, not a nation. I like it. Ms. Melody, she says, believe that God gave us the things to look for because we will be here for it. We aren't promised that we won't suffer. It is quite the opposite, actually. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. You know, that's the kind of stuff that my grandma was telling me, you know, when I was a little kid, about the numbers and you know, having to take this and that, and you know, you're either going to accept it or you're not, you know, and I hope you don't accept it. And I don't plan on accepting it, but it's crazy. Yeah, there's so much, but yeah, I'm glad to see people here joining the chats or in the chats and enjoying everything. Yeah, Music Lover says, yeah, you're right about the difference between people, the nation and the people. Romans 11 is clear on that. Yep. Jacob name was changed to Israel.
Just to play off of, you know, Carolyn's insights here, I want to say this. And I'm repeating myself, but maybe there's some new listeners. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem is in the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name gets changed to Israel. God's blessing is on the seed of Israel, which is Jacob, and the line of Shem. The term anti-Semite comes from the word anti-Shemite. The people who are living in Israel now are Ashkenazi Jews, which are 8th century Persian converts to Judaism, which they didn't really convert. They kept a lot of their paganism, their Baal and Moloch worship in place. But there's also Edomite Jews, which are the descendants of Esau. And they also kept a lot of occult practices in with their conversion to Judaism. But all of this is a moot point because we don't live in a bloodline blessing religion. Jesus came, he brought a new covenant that cancels the old. And he said that anybody who is saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ and his shed blood on the cross becomes grafted into the family of Abraham. And anybody who doesn't is essentially an antichrist. So for Christians to sit around and try to determine what the genealogies of the people are in Israel is kind of a waste of time, because at the end of the day, do they accept Christ or not? How many of the very, 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 very first Christians that converted or who became Christians were Jews? Probably a large majority of them in the Holy Land that were for the first Christians. Yes, they were Jews. The problem is this: they didn't continue to call themselves Judeo or Messianic Jews. They denounced and walked away from their that title and went for their new title, which is Christian, follower of Christ. So just some rambling thoughts there. I just want to share with people. Yes, I am interested in bloodline genealogies, but it's funny because even if we were to be taking tabs on bloodlines, Jesus says, I don't care what your bloodline is. Once you're in the family, it's a moot point because you're all in the body of Christ at that point. You're all part of the family of Abraham now. You've been grafted in. So why talk about who was first and who's this? It doesn't really even matter. But what Christian Zionists are doing is trying to tell us that we have to support a group of people, A, that probably aren't even genetically who we believe, who are being told they are, and B, Christ never said that. So anyways, I'm just saying that for anybody, if this is new information for you. I know a lot of our savvy listeners have heard us go on about this before. I just want to share some extra little layers to what Carolyn is saying here.
Yeah. And you know what, too? I like what she's saying. That I heard it put just real funny and to the matter of fact the other day by somebody who said it. And we tried saying it, we probably said it here on the show before, but somebody said, you mean to tell me that the chosen people are the ones that the Rothschilds decided what the land is in 1947, 1948? Is that the ones? You know, and it's just made me laugh because, like, excellent. Yeah. I'm glad to hear it. Somebody else is saying it too. You have humbled. You have to humble yourself and repent and ask for wisdom, knowledge to receive it. That's right. That's what we try to do on the show all the time. You know, we try to do that, and we strive to do that. Is what I'm saying. Okay, so look, we need to go over into our item of the week. Because our item of the week, it's a pretty good one. And it's something that you came with me from, and it's one of our favorite speakers, authors. I would call him a mentor, and he just died. He passed away just a few years ago. Horrible. Man, I wish he was still around. Chuck Missler. Chuck Missler. Oh, look, Outcast, that's me and you. It's not supposed to be on that one.
We're multiplying.
Yeah, look, we're just going. There we go. It's Chuck Missler's book, In the Prophecy 2020, bringing the future into focus through the lens of Scripture. Dr. Chuck Missler's Prophecy 2020 is a comprehensive, easily digested book that will give you basic understanding of how past events fulfilled biblical prophecy. It provides a strategic grasp of prophecy that equips you to clearly see the, quote, prophetic moment of current events. Chuck Missler was awesome. I love listening to him on his podcasts, and his shows and all that, and the way he thought about things. It was great. So this week, this is our book, our item of the week, our affiliate item of the week. And it is, again, Chuck Missler. This thing's only $12. You know what's funny about this, Outcast? We had talked about it. Now, if you guys want to buy this, the description is down below. The link is right there. Please click that link that we have in the description of the show, and that helps us as a show, help pay some of these bills here. But you had come to me with another Chuck Missler book, and I think you got that from one of our listeners, Heidi Human. She sent that to you, correct?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, Heidi sent it to me, and now I'm realizing it's a collector's item or something because the price is wacky.
Well, it's crazy because what it is what's it called? The Code.
It's Cosmic Code by Chuck.
Cosmic
Missler.
Code by Chuck Missler. So I looked that book up, you guys, and it's on here. And if you guys know anything about, like the way Amazon operates and the way that some of these, what do you want to call it, gatekeepers of knowledge?
That's a good word.
The gatekeepers like to keep things hidden and not to get out there. And I've seen this on a lot of other books too. Is like they'll either delete or they will not sell their book anymore because it just has too many things that people might not want other people to read and learn from. And another tactic that they have is that they will outprice a book. They'll put something out there that is so expensive that people won't buy it, and they know that. I'm going to show you an example of it. So the book that was originally going to be our offer of the week, our affiliate, was right here, The Cosmic Codes, Hidden Messages from the Edge of Eternity. If you look over there to the right, look at the prices. Now, the Kindle's $1.99. We usually do the paperback here on this show, but look at that. It's $56 for this paperback book. It's $209 for the hardcover.
There must be something good in it.
There's got to be. So we did not make this book of his our affiliate item of the week because there seems to be some gouging or something going on here. So that's why we went for the other book. But I just want you guys to know about what they do. This is wild. I don't like it. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's gonna move up on my must read list. Heidi Human sent to me, and so I'm in the middle of Gary Wayne's second book right now. But this one I'm curious about now. Now I think it was cheaper on ChristianBook.com, but we can't really link up to that to make it an affiliate item. But if you're interested in this, why they don't want you to read it, go to ChristianBook.com, and I think it's cheaper there. But that's crazy. $209 for a hardcover. What? Get out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. We can find it in a used bookstore somewhere. And this came out in 2004, I believe. 2013 publication date right there. So yeah, it's not that old a book, Outcast. It should not be this price. It's crazy. I don't like it. So anyway, go to his, if you want Chuck Missler's other book, go check that out. And that's The Prophecy 2020, bringing the future into focus. Through the lens of Scripture. And that is our Amazon link affiliate down below. Yeah.
Carolyn says, love Gary Wayne. Carolyn, look back at our past episodes. He's been a guest on our show 3 times. Is that right, Jesse?
Something like that. Yeah, I got to get a hold of him and get him back on here again. Yeah, he's awesome. He's a good one. Let me see here. Amber Dawn saying, wow, about something. I'm not sure. Oh, the price. Yeah, the price of that book. It's crazy. And Fisher, you have a good one over on Rumble. Kindle copies, they can just yank. Yeah. Well, with the problem with Kindle too, and all this electronic things that you can buy, just like the music and the games and the VHS, the movies and all these things. Well, they're trying to get everything into that model where we don't own anything. It's all electronic digital copies, right? Where just like the books. Look, if there's some certain things in these books, old books, and they digitize these things, all of a sudden they can just yank the books like they never existed, or they can completely delete pages, change text, change meanings. They can do all these things. But if you have the original copies of books, old ones, you're going to be more in line with the truth, the original intent of the truth. So it's careful. That's why I don't really recommend these Kindle things either. I'm not a big fan of Kindle stuff just because I don't know what they changed. And it's very easily for them to change stuff. Fisher says, I worked for the Salvation Army selling donated books on Amazon for a bit. Amazon are horrible Nazis to work with. I try not to use them at all. I know. Exactly. For the show, we have a link. I don't know where that's at. Maybe Music Lover has it or somewhere, but we have all of our Amazon affiliate links. And we use that because it helps fundraise for the show, right? Without asking you directly for money. You can do that because we have description links down below. If you want to, give the show directly, you can do that. But we also have these affiliate links. And yeah, it's tough, when you come to having to work with these kind of companies. But I believe that the affiliate links that we use for them, for Amazon Outcast, are to help you and your family out. because it's not just books. You know, sometimes we do, remember that we do those lights and we do a lot of, you know, survival prep kind of things, emergency preparation kind of things. And I did that Father's Day gift lantern thing. That was really good. So, you know, we have links on all that stuff. So we're trying to cover as many bases as we can because, look, we have no big giant APAC behind us selling us, or, you know, giving us thousands and thousands of dollars a month. No, we're not like that. We're just a little tiny humble show here, just looking for a shekel or two, a little dime or two, little jingle in our pocket. That's all we're trying to do, Outcast. So, yeah, if you want to use Kindle or whatever, you know, I don't see, you know, for plane rides, flights and stuff like that. But you know, are we sure we're getting the full 100% of what the author had written and intended originally? I don't know, but I know it's easy to change that stuff. All right. What's your thoughts, Outcast, where we're at right now?
No, we're good. Did you want to move on to your flock topic?
You know, I do. I'm looking at my list stuff. I want to say that just for a little bit longer. I do have these bookmarks. I have some Twitter and some Facebook bookmark stuff, which I enjoy doing because every now and then, you know, I'll look through and I will find things that I bookmarked, you know, and if I can find them again, I'll bring them up, is what I'm saying, Outcast. So let me look here, and, you know, it's real goofy where you save things at and where it goes when you save it. Maybe if I go here, hold on, you guys, I'm looking here. Let's start with the Twitter stuff first, because those bookmarks are easier to find. And I like to have fun with these things because they are kind of fun. This first one, Outcast, is about, oh, hang on, where'd it go? Chickens. All right, so everybody knows here that I raise chickens, right? And I've raised chickens for a very long time. I'm a chicken rancher from the 90s is what I'm saying. Our flock is a good, healthy, strong, small flock right now. It's one of our smaller flocks, and I haven't really, I don't plan on changing flock because we have a nice young flock, gives us just the amount of eggs. We could use more. So maybe I'll change it next year a little bit and add some more birds. But I want to bring you over to this right here. And this is going to, let's see where it's going to take us to, Outcast. This time it's always something crazy. Here we go. So this one, now I like this one. This young girl here, she's talking straight up truth is what I'm saying. She says, according to nutrient, hang on. First, it comes from Wall Street Ape. Says, this is wild. We have been lied to about everything. We were told chicken is a healthy food. We have been told it's what we should be eating. According to nutrient density information by multiple sources, including the USDA, it ranks nearly dead last. And here's the order for the list. But I'm just going to let the girl talk because what she's saying is she's smart. She knows exactly what she's saying, Outcast. And there it is on big. So I know what she's saying, and I want to add to this because there's some stuff at the end that goes on. But she's fired up. Check this out.
You know you're pretty deep down the rabbit hole when you no longer believe that chicken is a health food. And I don't believe it anymore. For decades, we were sold this lie to sell chicken. That chicken is a health food. It's the cleanest source of protein. It's the number one, all these things. It is absolutely not true. If you actually look at the nutrient density of proteins, beef is number one, lamb is number two. Venison.
You guys are going to hear some crazy sounds because she's in her farmyard and there's animals all around her. So coming up here, there's going to be some crazy sounds. I just want to let you know what that is.
Bison, then you get to like fish and pig, and at the very, very bottom, chicken, lower than pig. But you know why chicken is at the very bottom?
That's what I'm talking about.
Because at this point, they have, I don't want to say genetically modified because I'm going to get in trouble, but selectively bred, we'll pretend, that they have selectively bred this so much that all the health, like nutrient density in the health food has been absolutely stripped from it. Like, they're not breeding these chickens to make them healthy. They're breeding these chickens to grow bigger, to grow faster, to eat less food. What are my sheep doing? and to be more disease resistant. Nowhere in there does it say, and to have a higher nutritional content. Literally, I freaking could not care less about us. If you know anything about marketing, you know it is all a complete marketing tactic, a marketing sham, because I don't want to say which company, a big, huge chicken company that you probably know of that begins with a T, wanted to sell more chicken in an era when chicken wasn't really being...
You guys who know who Mike Tyson is, right? He's a really good fighter. All right.
Eaten that much. It was kind of a delicacy. Most people were eating beef. Most people were eating pork. They weren't really eating chicken. So in order to change the narrative, they had to change what people thought. Marketing 101. If you've ever seen these chickens be raised, they are some of the gangliest birds. They are ready in about 6 to 8 weeks if you do not breed them. If you do not process them in that 6 to 8 weeks, they will start to, their legs will break, their hearts start to give out. Like, they are literally bred to grow big so fast. And if you don't then butcher them, they are living just miserable, miserable lives. It's really sad, honestly. So yes, if you're gonna stop buying one thing at the store, please let it be chicken, because my freaking goodness, it is not. We have been lied to for decades.
All right, what she's talking about, hang on, Outcast. What she's talking about, those birds that you're talking, that she's going to show some different birds, but the birds she's talking about are those cross-linked birds, all right, cross-sexed, okay? They will never be able, you know, if what am I trying to say here? They have the body that almost looks like a duck. It's a real heavy bird. The legs are short. All right. The legs are very short on these birds. They're meat birds. I used to get them. I don't do it anymore because the last time we did it, I saw the suffering in these birds. Okay. The ones that are called meat birds. And I'm not doing it ever again. My birds are all egg birds right now. I can get a heavier breed if I want to do meat birds. But all these chicken breasts that you see in the stores and at restaurants and everything, these big, massive chicken breasts, those are coming from the birds that I used to raise. All right. That the birds that she's talking about, these things, if they weren't cross-linked, they would not be, they're sterile birds. They can't reproduce. Okay. These meat birds cannot reproduce one bit. They have to be kept being reproduced by labs. Okay. And then you can go to Tractor Supply and get them. They're just the white meat birds. And I'll tell you what, they grow so fast, Outcast. They stink. They're heavy. If they sit around too long, they'll break their legs because they get so dang heavy. That's why they have to be butchered so quick. The last batch I did, I had a dozen of them. This was probably 7-8 years ago. And my youngest daughter, she did not like it. No, they're not the Cornish hens. No, the Cornish hens are little baby ones. Those are little bannies. No, it's not those. It's the meat birds. That's what I'm saying. It's just the meat birds. They get huge, like super fat. You know, a duck is like real thick and like big chested and everything. They kind of look like that. Of course, they don't fly. They don't mate. They don't do any of that stuff. They just sit there and eat. So you got to butcher them quick. You know, it only cost me $1 a bird to butcher them in this place up in the thumb. Yeah, it's completely disgusting. And I said, I'll never get these again. And I had to talk with another customer, in a Tractor Supply store, when they had the birds in the cages next to the other birds, you know, the egg-laying birds and the natural birds, the heirloom birds. And we had this long discussion about it, and one of the Tractor Supply workers overheard us talking about it, and you know, so we told them about it. Said, look, these birds, this is disgusting. What's going on here? They should not be doing this. You know, call it science or whatever it is, but the meat, it's horrible. Let me finish, and then I hope you didn't forget your thought, Outcast. Here's what your birds should be looking like. And these are exactly what my birds look like now. She's going to open her cage and check this out.
In case you're wondering what chicken should look like. Dun, dun, dun.
Look at that. Beautiful birds.
Look at them walking around. They're about to all come out. They're all healthy. Yep. Hi, hun. This is my favorite rooster. He's so pretty. He does not have a name, though, because he's nuggets in 2 weeks. Okay, bye, bud.
All right. So what's your thoughts, Outcast? Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you're fine. No, my thing was, man, I'm really frustrated because what's that?
Broilers. That's what they're called. We call them broilers. Yeah. They're not.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I fell for this marketing scheme, hook, line, and sinker, because I've been eating chicken like crazy for years. I do feel like I digest it better than beef, but it's interesting. Yeah, I believe everything she's saying, and I believe everything you're saying. I'm really grossed out by chicken breasts too that I get from the grocery store, which I don't get very often, but that have that. It's like the muscle, the breast muscle is all like twisted in on itself or something, and you go to cut it, and it's weird. Oh, that grosses me out. I can't even deal. But but I this is I'm absorbing this very much because I've been eating a lot of chicken for a long time. I did lean up on chicken years ago when I was working out a ton. I ate a ton of chicken back. This talked many years ago. So I've just kind of continued eating it as a habit, but this makes me rethink rethink everything a little bit, because this is sad and gross to hear. It's unbelievable.
If you're going to get a chicken, I would say get one from somebody who's selling birds like I have. These ones. They're not as big. They won't be. Think about the old days when
I don't need them big. I just need them tasty.
All right, that's it. Well, these ones are tasty. These are tasty birds. These ones, these egg layers. But they do have heavier breeds of those. But they're not cross links and all that stuff. Broilers like that. They're just heirloom birds. And every now and then I'll get some of those. I have 2 right now. But they lay good eggs, so I'm not gonna put those in the freezer. You can also get Amish hens, and they're already going to be cooked and they're already going to be done. And, so those are healthy and they're not the broilers. Now, Deborah Santos, she's in here right now. She says, I accidentally had a meat bird. It was the saddest thing I ever watched. Yeah. It is very, very sad to have meat birds with your flock of regular chickens, because you can see as they start growing, and they grow super fast, like way faster than everything else. They grow to death. If you don't butcher it right away, they suffer and they can't walk, and it was crazy. But that's something that scientists came up with. She says it was huge and unhealthy. Yeah, it's horrible. Like I said, you can't even tell there's a male and female, because you'll never see a rooster one of these. It's just like you can't tell if it's a male, female. It's weird, Outcast. But that's what they're giving you at the restaurants. Unless you're getting some specialty birds that are Amish or something like that, that's what you're going to get. It's really bad. They need to end that. I wish they would. They're creating a life that should not exist, in selling it to you and marketing it to you. So I would say that my birds are healthy, because they're a natural bird. They reproduce and everything on their own, but not those broilers, those store-bought big giant birds. They can't reproduce. They're all sterile. Every one of them sterile. There is the rest of this report. You want to hear this? Now it goes over into more technical. And it's about a little bit over a minute left. But this guy goes over all the values of the beef and the lamb and the bacon and all this, and bison, venison and all this. So let's give him a listen.
This is all true, and it's very shocking to hear, but if you go off of nutrient density in meats, chicken is almost ranked dead last in everything, which is just wild because we have been told the opposite. So here's the order. It goes beef, lamb, bison, venison, fish, pork, and then chicken all the way at the bottom. Now you can kind of read this at your own pace to kind of go over what's the most healthy for you. But one of the other things that's mentioned is that chicken wasn't a standard food in America, that it was a company with a T, meaning Tyson, that changed that for us. And again, let's just fact check that
allegedly
claim. Here it is. Chicken was normalized in America because of marketing. Chicken was historically more of a delicacy or seasonal food in the US, not an everyday staple like beef and pork. But here in the mid-20th century, campaigns by companies like Tyson successfully repositioned it as a cheap, healthy, everyday lean protein alternative. So this was done to increase market share. I mean, you should be furious. We are eating a non-nutrient dense meat because a major corporation wanted to increase their market share and was very successful at marketing it to us.
There's nothing new about this, Outcast. Look what they did with margarine. Look what they did with all the seed oils. They made it look like it's all healthy, and butter was not good for you, and lard was not good for you. So instead, they came up with all this Rockefeller byproduct of the petroleum. We've been lied to about everything, and we're going to be continued to be lied to about everything. It's never going to end. We're going to go through all this stuff. We have to be our own stewards of what goes in our bodies. We have to be smarter than what we see on TV. Remember all the TV dinners that came out, the box cakes and all that stuff. That was all spurred on marketing campaigns. Back when, the old Swanson and Stouffer's and all the old stuff. Remember all that stuff? That all came in there, Outcast, as all marketing. And I tell you what, most of the American households bought it hook, line, and sinker. I'm talking about our great-grandparents, our grandparents, us. Yeah.
I bought it.
Nutritional marketing.
Jeez. Well, I mean, you think about it too, as far as like removing the protein that makes strong, virile men from the food source is it was just one step closer to soy boys, right?
Yeah.
That's
soy boy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they're just constantly shifting to less healthy things all the time, and stuff that also takes the fight out of men.
Yeah. Soy, all the estrogens and all these things, right? All that stuff. So it's like, what? Hang on, we got something here from Amber Dawn over on Buy Me a Coffee, Outcast, and I'm trying to pull it up here if I can, but just give me a second, you guys, because I'm not logged in. The computer logged me out of it, so it's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Is there anybody? What's going on in the?
I was going to add this too.
Yeah,
I ran into a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a long time, and he'd been working in the butcher industry.
Oh boy!
And I said, I go, at the time, this was many years ago when he told me this, and I said, oh yeah, I go, I barely eat red meat. I eat mostly chicken. And he goes, dude, chicken's the worst. He goes, he turned into a complete vegetarian. He was a big meat eating guy. He goes, ever since I've been in this industry, he goes, I'm a vegetarian now. And he goes, and the last thing you should be eating is chicken, is what he told me. So
wow.
He goes, it's just, if you saw the conditions that they're raising these animals in, it's just disgusting. He goes, you wouldn't eat it.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean about I'm a beef eater. I my favorite thing is eating beef. I do like eating fish. And I'll get as much as I can, but not everybody in the house likes eating fish. There's 2 people in the house like eating fish and 2 that don't. So I'm beef every day for me.
I'm eating more myself.
Yeah, and we get our own cow. I visit the cow before it gets butchered. I know where it's at. I know what it's been eating, and we've done this for years, and I enjoy that. So it was Amber Dawn. She became a supporter over on Buy Me a Coffee tonight. Yeah, she says, love you guys. And thank you for the $10. Thank you so much, Amber Dawn. Thank you. Yes, if you guys want to do that, you can also do that. It's right there on the screen. And some funny noises pop up when that happens on the screen. So but it didn't this time because I had it all off and I wasn't logged in. But it is now. So thank you, Amber Dawn, again. We always you always come through.
We appreciate you very much. We love your comments too.
Yeah. Let me see. We have. Oh boy, this is going to step into our Palantir kind of thing, or our
flock.
Yeah. I'm just looking over some of these things. Wow. I guess we can get into it. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. All right.
All right.
Let's start opening with Whitney Webb. Okay. Does everybody know who Whitney Webb is?
I like her.
Yeah, she's really good. I've reached out to her. She's a very tough one. She's a very tough one to get, Outcast. She's very busy. She does deep research on so much stuff. But here's her talking about the history of Palantir. Now, why I'm talking about this is because Palantir has a big time role in our White House right now. I do not like it. We talked about what these guys are doing. Remember he was going around on his tour talking about demons and Satan and the AI and all this stuff. and what is man and all these things. Remember all that stuff? That drove me nuts. Well, let's get into this, and then we'll start. We're going to get into relating this into the whole flock thing. So let's go over here. And here's Whitney Webb. Let's give her a listen right now. This is about a 3-minute thing. We might be able to stop here in between.
Peter Thiel, as an example, Palantir has been in the news, right? He's a co-founder of that. So how was Palantir created? Well, there was this company that was being run, or not company, sorry. It was a government program after 9/11 called Total Information Awareness. It was housed within the Pentagon's DARPA office. And the man they chose to put in charge of that was John Poindexter, who was the highest ranking member of the Reagan administration to be indicted for his role in Iran-Contra, which, again, the continuity of government stuff is relevant here. So eventually, it launches and whatever, but people are outraged by it because, as they rightly pointed out, it would eliminate constitutional protections of America.
Constitutional protections. Let's keep going.
Americans' rights, specifically the right to privacy, among other things. It was a huge surveillance dragnet, and its goal wasn't just to, surveil everything. It was to predict crime before it happens, predict terror attacks before it happens. I mean, it's like Minority Report was basically the end goal of it. And so after all the pushback, they changed the name to Terrorist Information Awareness and try and rebrand. Oh, it's not total. We are still going to surveil innocent Americans, but we're focusing on the terrorists. They did all this stuff to try and rebrand it. But Congress defunded it. But hidden in that bill, Congress allowed aspects of it to continue. And essentially, I argue in my work on Palantir that an effort was made to privatize large aspects of TIA as Palantir. Because when Alex Karp and Peter Thiel were setting it up, they went to John Poindexter through this guy named Richard Pearl, who was a long-standing neocon actor.
A lot of these names should be familiar to a lot of you guys. Think about the past administrations and what they had set up, because this is not just boom, I'm in. This was a long-standing process for this to take place. They were a slow build, is what I'm saying.
With very extensive ties also to the state of Israel. He was caught in the 70s giving classified information to Israel's embassy and should have gone to jail and somehow did not. And had a lot of ties also to Netanyahu's first government. And Richard Pearl is the guy that connected Thiel Karp to Poindexter, and they basically wanted to talk to Poindexter because they wanted to recreate Total Information Awareness and saw him as the godfather of modern mass surveillance. And in doing so, they basically, Peter Thiel teams up with In-Q-Tel, the CIA's venture capital firm. Alex.
In-Q-Tel. Are you guys familiar with In-Q-Tel? They're the ones that put together Google, YouTube. There's a lot of stuff behind that outfit. Okay, In-Q-Tel. Remember that. They're behind a lot of this stuff that is controlled, or, part of the whole surveillance state too.
Karp has said on record that the intended clients of Palantir from the beginning was the CIA. And, the CIA was their first client for their first 6 years as a company. Their top developers went to Langley, Virginia, which is CIA headquarters, every 2 weeks to show the CIA their product and have them tweak it to their liking. And during that period of time, one of the top people at the CIA that would have been involved in that is this guy named Alan Wade, who was also intimately involved with Total Information Awareness. And if you look at how Total Information Awareness was described, its privacy protections, it's exactly the same as the way Palantir sold their stuff later on. So there's an insane amount of overlap. And what's crazy here is that Alan Wade, a few years prior, had created a Homeland Security software program that was also pre-crime-esque and similar to what Palantir ended up doing. It was called Kiliad, and he teamed up with Christine Maxwell to do that.
Christine Maxwell is the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell, Robert Maxwell's daughters. Oh, any thoughts about that stuff, Outcast? Remember, that was some of the names that came up from a long time ago. That's back in the early days when I was warning people about, hey, they're building something for the future. They're going to be watching all of us. Oh, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. No, they're not.
Well, it's reminiscent of what was the DARPA program for Facebook before it came out? Is it My Life or My
LifeLog?
LifeLog. It's very reminiscent of that, where you've got a government program that gets that overlaps with the exact same format as a later program, and then they slap somebody's face on it, like a Zuckerberg or a Peter Thiel, and they go, "Oh, look what this genius created." And then you hear these. I mean, side note, I've been hearing these stories about people who have rubbed elbows with these people, and they're completely imbecilic and unimpressive in person.
Yeah.
And yet they're sold to us as these geniuses. They're not geniuses. They're club members. And their whole main goal is to track and surveil humanity, to create a Chinese police state here in the United States through surveillance and observation and data gathering. Data is the new gold mining, is data mining.
Yep.
They want to know everything, everything about you. Whitney Webb, I love how she brings receipts with everything she knows. It's hard to keep up with her because she's so dang smart. I really appreciate the work that she does, and that looks like she looks a little different there. She looks like it's older footage. So this is a earlier program.
Looks like Daphne from the
Scooby-Doo. Yeah, she does. But bless her heart, man, she's a brilliant woman, and she is researched deep. But at the end of the day, it's a bunch of jokers. It's a bunch of government programs with a bunch of jokers' faces slapped on the front of it, tried to package to us and sold to us as an idea that, we were supposed to cheer them on because they're entrepreneurs and they're brilliant. I was talking about this with brother Tom the other day via text. We're constantly we're told we have to be marveling over the genius that is Elon Musk. Well, as you, our savvy listeners, know here, he did not create Tesla. He purchased Tesla from other great minds who created the format. Tesla has not been profitable 1 year that it has existed. It has existed on government subsidies. First of all, that's the first problem.
That's taxpayer dollars.
Yep. SpaceX is not profitable and has not accomplished much, even though they dumped billions into it. And then when he bought Twitter X, he tanked the stock by 50%, I think, in the first months of owning it. We wring our hands a little bit sometimes, fretting over these individuals, but they're not as smart as we think they are. And God laughs at the plans of men. And they can create whatever template they want. It doesn't mean they're going to succeed. And we're watching it in real time now because, Peter Thiel, he's behind, technically, indirectly, he's behind the flock cameras, correct?
No, that's this Garrett guy, billionaire Garrett guy. Garrett in a t-shirt. Yeah.
Okay. Another t-shirt guy. Yeah. Anyways. Well,
maybe you're thinking about Sam Altman or something.
That's what I'm thinking of Sam Altman. Yeah. I'm sorry. But anyways, we should not tremble in our boots over these people because look what's happening. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of you, Jesse, but this flock camera thing, what I'm kind of marveling over right now, I don't know if I've thought this through, with a lot of intent here, but people on the left are vehemently opposed to flock cameras for different reasons than we are. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of ICE per se. I mean, I believe in law and order, but I mean, I don't want anybody abusing power. But there's people on the left that hate flock because they're sharing data with ICE. There's people on the far right who hate flock because it's an infringement on basic freedoms.
Yep.
Being tracked and surveilled. And then you send anybody to go to talk to these people from flock, and they hide and they threaten and they try to call the police. They take their privacy very seriously while exploiting your privacy. It's a clown world. And it's funny to see when liberals and conservatives arc over and they almost end up in the same spot. That always cracks me up when that happens. And this is one of those instances, when it comes to tracking and surveilling us, a lot of people are ticked. I don't know if they were anticipating this type of kickback. They should have, in my opinion, but I don't know if they were. What are your thoughts, Jesse? Am I on anything here?
Yeah, no, they're trying to force something right now. InQtel is IN space Q space TEL, InQtel. And if you go to that website, it'll freak you out. The way they try to hide and present things as who they are and what they do and their mission partners. And I just had that on the screen, Outcast, and that's that video I was showing you. This one right here. They call themselves a global, investment, innovation, secure the nation, and all this stuff. IQT, I'll just read this before we get to the flock thing. Don't let me forget, Outcast. Has delivered significant mission impact for more than a quarter century, building a unique and uniquely powerful, not-for-profit global investment platform that accelerates the introduction of groundbreaking technologies to enhance the national security and prosperity of America and its allies. To advance our global security investing mission, we envision over-the-horizon developments in key frontier tech domains and then engage our platform to identify, evaluate, and leverage. So it sounds like they're doing something, you know, what I'm saying is there's a lot to see here, but there's a lot of hidden stuff. There's their mission partners and all this, the Department of Navy, the, CIA, NGA, FBI, DIA, NSA, DHS, all of it, strategic capital offices from the UK, Australia, U.S. Central Command, Space Force, Nuclear Security Administration. I mean, they're I believe them along with Flock, Palantir. It's just, look at this. Look at they're into all this stuff that a company that you've never heard of, but they know everything about you and me. Scary stuff, Outcast. Biotech stuff. Yeah. They call it space stuff. There's microelectronics, energy.
Biotech, that makes me think of too, is the big fear about Ancestry.com and 23andMe was that they would share your data with insurance companies.
Yeah.
Right. And then the insurance companies could prorate your insurance rates based on what your DNA.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, your bloodline and what your DNA is indicating your predispositions for illness are.
Yeah.
And it says, that biotech, I mean, it makes me think that would tie in with that too. They're gathering data on, if data is the new currency, that they're gathering data on the DNA of people too. So
yeah, for sure. All right. So now let's get back to the Flock thing. I just had to go back to the In-Q-Tel stuff because In-Q-Tel is deep behind all this other platform stuff. As I was saying, Google and all these things, but they help. Go ahead. Ask me again about the Flock thing because that was deep. Now, do you remember before I got sidetracked and went back to that?
I forget what I was saying about Flock, but
all right. Well, let's get back into this this whole Flock thing, and I'm going to read some of this stuff about how Flock panicked amid the backlash because a lot of people are starting to talk about them now. Their dark secrets are being exposed, and that's basically they're building the whole Big Brother thing. Now, Flock is not the only one. There's many other companies that are doing the exact same thing and selling their equipment to companies and governments and townships and parks. I mean, they're everywhere. Remember, they told us these Flock cameras they're license plate readers, right? But they're showing up in parks down on dirt roads, trails where their cars don't even drive. So there's not, they're selling to the police, sheriff, all types of different law enforcement agencies, and they're all fed back into this greater AI system. Everything they pick up, they're not just reading their license plate, Outcast. They're also picking up the model of the car, the aspects of the car. Is it dented? Does it have scratches on it? Missing, the hubcaps. I mean, broken glass. They're identifying you and where you go. The entire day you're doing your thing. They're laying out your routines. They're then you pair that with the stuff that's in your phone, that's in your pocket. All right. That overlaps each other. And then the transactions that you make at the stores. All right. That just solidifies what you did in these stores and things that you bought or ordered. And then you link that up to your Amazon purchases or your whatever electronic thing you just did, your banking stuff. I mean, we're being tracked. We're Big Brother is running the show now, Outcast. And it's very sad that we have come to this in this day and age. I remember seeing old, in the 90s movies, I believe it was late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. Movies, TV shows, things that, over in London and Great Britain. And I used to see cameras everywhere on these TV shows, on all the, buildings in corners. And I was like, wow, that's a Big Brother state over there. I'm glad that's not us. I never thought it could get here. But yet here we are. We're under it. We're living in it now, Outcast. It's insane that it's set up. And remember, months ago we talked about this DFlock. It was dflock.me. You can go to dflock.org, dflock.com, I believe. But dflock.me was the one that I talked about here. It's the same company, DFlock. Okay. It tells you where they are all across the country, all these cameras, in which way they're facing. And you can see the map. You pull up your map. I did that here before. Pull up your town, type in your address or your zip code or your town, whatever, however you want to look, you can do it. So this part that I want to get into, talking about this flock thing, I'm going to play some audio here. Tell me if you can hear this audio, Outcast. Do you hear that or no? All right, let me back up in here and I'll have to go over to, oh boy. Let me pick this up real quick, you guys. I'm going to switch it on over to, come on now. There we go. Okay, you should be able to hear this audio now. All right. Here we go.
So here I am having conversations, and I believe...
Now, this guy is a Cleveland councilman. He's talking about just exposing the Phlox AI software.
Only Cleveland has access, and now we hear that there's a, as we're calling it now, a side door access to information, right? This is why nobody trusts Flock, right? Is because you have to find the answers on your own, right? I think everybody in the administration understands council's position on this, but yet every time we take 2 steps forward, we're taking 1 back because the side door opens. And that's the frustrating part of this piece of legislation, is that when I'm told only Cleveland's going to have access to it, and then we learned that the Fusion Center will now have access or has access to Cleveland's information through Flock, that level of trust just falls again.
Right. That level of trust is gone, Outcast. So that's part of the frustration a lot of people are having, is that Flock is not coming clean and not telling us what is the heck is going on. You know what I mean? So I'm going to read this little bit of an article here. This is from Man in America. This is Seth. Do you remember his name? Seth. Oh, darn it. I forgot his name.
House.
Seth Holhouse. Yeah, he's pretty good here. He says, how close are we to living in a surveillance state, and what does it mean for our freedom? Are you okay with somebody watching your every move, tracking where you drive, and profiling you based on where you go? Well, Garrett Lang, he's the CEO of the $8.3 billion surveillance giant Flock, certainly thinks so. So unless the public eye turns on him, with surveillance technologies like Flock's license plate readers becoming a common as traffic lights, the very fabric of American freedom is at stake. Today, we dive deep into the invasion technologies that are quietly transforming America into a surveillance state, exposing the chilling parallels between proposed safety measures and Orwellian surveillance. Now, in a moment, let me switch this over so you can see it. Garrett Lang, in a moment of unintended honesty, admitted the overreach of his own technology by labeling a grassroots privacy advocacy group as a terrorist organization, likening them to Antifa simply because they dared to challenge his surveillance empire. What he's talking about is DFlock, the company that I told you about. Says Flock CEO apologizes for calling activists, quote, terrorists. As a movement against the $8.3 billion Flock Safety's license plate readers gathers momentum, companies like Garrett, he says, tells Forbes he shouldn't have called them nonviolent activist terrorist organizations. The slip of the tongue, followed by a hurried apology, reveals a stark truth about the intentions behind these technologies. Here's a quote from this Garrett guy. He says, my comments were a mistake and I apologize. There are groups today that have valid criticisms of the business, and I think what's changed for us as we've listened to them and heard them out. But Lang's backtrack doesn't halt the wheels that are already in motion. Across America, communities starting to realize the implications of these surveillance tools, not just for their privacy, but for their fundamental rights. As flock cameras and some similar technologies become fixtures in our cities, they weave a dense web of surveillance that some are beginning to resist effectively. Yes, this isn't about a single company or a single camera. It's about a network of surveillance that threatens to alter the very nature of freedom in our society. The backlash is big, Outcast. What's your thoughts right now? We're seeing all these things on social media where people are, they're cutting them down and they're being like, "Don't tread on me," and they're doing all these things, and it's crazy because, well, we're not telling you to do all this stuff because that would be breaking the law, right? To take these down and spray paint them and do whatever they're doing and pointing green lasers and all this crap at them. But what are your thoughts? I mean, I know if George Washington around, he probably would shoot them with a cannon.
Yeah, I agree. I hate the concept of them because I know the deeper, like even, let's look at one of the most, on the lowest level of egregious things that are happening with these flock cameras. There's at least, I think, 27 separate cases where police officers have abused flock to stalk and harass ex-girlfriends and ex-wives around the country, right? Right. That's on the lowest level of abuse.
Yeah, that's the simple stuff they're finding right now. Yeah, keep going.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, when you think about how vast this data gathering effort is on our humanity and who we are, to know us better than we know ourselves, to know our biometrics and our likes and dislikes and our medications or whatever we're on, this is all going to feed into that. There's no guardrails on this thing. That's what makes it insidious to me. It's not like you could, even if in a perfect world, we're just looking for bad guys and people who are, who have outstanding warrants. Even then, I would find it a little concerning because of this very possibility. But we have a trail, of breadcrumbs to follow, linking all of this data together into one super hive mind of information on each and every person, where you go and what you do and how fast you drive, and whether you have two hands on the wheel or not, or whether whatever they're looking for. It's wrong. But it's the intention is obvious, and it is a complete lockdown on humanity, just like we've exposed China for, right? Right. Yeah. You jaywalk, it takes a picture of your face, and then you lose, a couple points in your social credit score, or in your bank account. You post something online that they don't approve, you face, some type of cyber jail or loss of privileges, or the inability to travel to leave your precinct. I mean, watch Hunger Games for a minute, people. They are telling you what they want to do. It is clear as a bell. Once again, we're going to go back to earlier in this episode. We talked about it for a minute. They know that they've lost. Everything that they've tried to do to lock us down wakes us up even more. They are running so fast now. I think that they are in kill shot mode. They're going to thin the herd any way they can, burn people out of their houses with direct energy weapons or whatever, flood people out of their houses with HARP and other weather control systems. They have the ability to create earthquakes. They can displace people and en masse. They've already got people to take the vaccine. Saw a study today. 80 out of 100 people who took the vaccine are expected to die at some point from complications, especially when they get exposed to 5G. I mean, I could keep go on and on and on, but you could tell that they are running scared because they know that we know who they are, the majority of us. And like, here's an example. I'm going to use my wife as an example. She listens to stuff that I tell her and she's interested, but then she kind of goes, well, what am I supposed to do with this information? I can't change anything. So she says, just spare me. I don't watch the news. I'm not on social media. I don't want to hear it. Until one day there was toxic smoke in our yard and she could smell it. Ooh. And she's like, what the hell is this? I'm like, well, if you watch the news, you'd know that there's forest fires in Canada. And she's like, there's forest fires in Canada again?
Right.
Like, yeah. And then I'm like, and then she starts looking into it. And then she looks into the lithium mines and she's looking, and so you could ignore, regular people can try to ignore this stuff and live a peaceful life if they want to, but eventually something comes knocking on your door. Mm-hmm. And with Flock 2, here's another aspect. Sorry, I'm on a roll, Jesse. There are people who are receiving tickets in the mail for speeding in towns they've never been in.
Yep.
Mistaken identity.
Yeah.
That in itself is a red flag. Listen, Ford Motor Company fired a bunch of their top executives or engineers, I don't know who they were, but to replace them with AI. They just called all those people back because the AI is failing them. So that's another problem. Not only are they gathering data on everybody, but they're not even gathering correct data on everybody. They're gathering skewed information. That's creepy as all get out too. This is this is a failure on every level. And this would, in a normal world, if we didn't live in this matrix timeline, nobody would tolerate this.
Yeah.
And now I'm one last dystopian thought. Part of me thinks that they're trying to goad us into being so upset and so fed up that we fight back. And then they're going to unleash all their super high tech drones and things that we haven't seen before. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I'm saying. I think that we're not going to be able to avoid this stuff, Outcast. So, Flock right now, it's just the Flock cameras that are out there. Okay. We haven't even started talking about the Flock drones yet. Their plan is because they know that people are taking these down and they don't like it. Right. Well, people can't take down their drones. Every day we're seeing more and more drones start flying around. We got these Amazon things doing deliveries and all this stuff. And what I think they're going to end up doing is, taking these Flock cameras off of these poles that are in town, and they'll be like, okay, we'll get rid of it. And all of a sudden they'll be gone, but they're going to be in the air. And their plan is to have just like they have these Flocks on the ground, they'll have them in the air, same areas, but in a drone system. And as the battery starts to dry on that drone, before it does, they'll put one up to take its place, bring that one down and get a recharge. They'll never be without something in the air watching us. I think this one right here is just the first step in it. And again, this is not the first company right here. I'm going to read some of this right here. It says Flock is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. As much as I have focused on Flock, I don't want you to think that stopping one company solves this problem. While cities are canceling their Flock contracts, many of them are replacing them with ones from another company called Axon. Axon started making out tasers and police body cameras, but now they sell the exact same kind of license plate reader that Flock does. And they make a version that attaches quietly to street lights instead of sitting on a big black pole where you can spot it. So even if we win against Flock, the same technology can slip right back in wearing a different company's name. So above all, these individual camera companies sits something bigger, and that goes back to what that Whitney Webb thing that we played. A company called Palantir does not just collect data, it connects all the different pieces together so that everything about you, your car, your face, your movements, becomes searchable in one file. It says, I looked into Palantir, how Palantir came to be, and it turns out it traces its roots back to the Pentagon program launched after 9/11 called Total Information Awareness, which Whitney Webb just told us about. So this thing has been building over decades, and some of us have been noticing. Some have not, and they don't believe it. Some still believe it's a big, giant conspiracy theory. But it's here. We're going to live through it. Yeah, we do sound dystopian. I see there's a lot of comments right now in the chat rooms. And let me see. Over at Rumble says, Fisher says, unless they have wired transmitters, they could be jammed from a vehicle, right? Probably in violation of some FCC rule or something else. Yeah. The more advanced things are not going to be able to be, as far as what the civilians can own, no, we won't be able to jam their stuff. I mean, there's Stingrays that are around. You guys don't even know about the Stingray technology that's been around for a long time. They can set up, a police car can pop it up. In every vehicle that goes by, it can pull everything off their cell phone. All right, that's Stingray. That's been around for a long time. And one of my cop friends was very surprised when I brought up Stingray to her. And she said, how do you know about Stingray? I said, hey, I've read the white papers on this stuff a long time ago. I said, how many do you guys have here in the county? And there was a handful. But that's old tech. That's old technology compared to this stuff now. Those Stingrays, they would have set them up for, big gatherings and protests and all that stuff and just drag people's phones as you drive by or walk by or whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple thoughts too. I've been pondering this also as I find it I'm just going to say it's very entertaining to see young people stand up and try to take these cameras down. It's fun to watch that.
I know.
But what they'll do next is they will put them on higher poles or poles that are unreachable, like next to traffic lights where you can't get in the middle of the intersection to get to them. Or maybe they'll make them so small they'll be within the traffic light and you won't even know they're there. They'll just up the ante and get more clever, right? That's the first problem.
Yeah.
But also a music lover said something. I have a just anecdotal but true story that makes me want to comment. She says, that's the part that gets me too. Don't mail me a ticket, pull me over and explain my crime to me. That is a very good point, but kind of not apples to apples, but similar, something that happened to me. Remember when I went up to Bay City, Jesse?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So there was 2 bridges that go from one side of town to the other across the Saginaw River, I think it is, whatever that big body of water is. There's 2 bridges. One is a toll bridge that has a drawbridge on it for big ships. And the other one's taller. And it's not a drawbridge; it's just a regular bridge.
Right.
So, well, when I was there, I was I saw this drawbridge. It was closer to what I wanted to go and do things at. So I took the drawbridge. It said something like, I saw a sign about toll, but I'm thinking, well, where's the toll booth? When do I pay? Do I pay when I get over the bridge? When's the toll happen?
Right.
And I never saw anything. I was like, I don't know. So and I went over this bridge 3 different times because I couldn't figure it out. I thought, well, maybe it's only sometimes. I don't know what it was. And I just got a ticket, or not a ticket, well, sort of a ticket. I got a notification in the mail that I owed $16 for tolls, and it had a picture of my car and my license plate. I got that in the mail. Now, $16.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And what's funny, Jesse, is that the bridge that was free was further away and took me through a new downtown. So I'm guessing maybe they want to funnel traffic through the new downtown to promote the new downtown. Yeah. But I wanted to go to the old downtown. Where that's where I was headed. I didn't want to see the new condo area. I wanted to go to the old school downtown.
Yeah.
So it was closer to where I was staying, was right over that bridge. Well, I got mailed a ticket, and my wife was like, "Let me see that." And she's like, "Is that really a picture of your car?" And I'm like, "It's my car." And it's creepy that you're being surveilled like that.
I know. But, I don't like it.
But it felt like a trap because there's no place. Where was I supposed to pay this toll?
They didn't make it clear for you, did they?
No, there's nobody's in a booth. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Do I put quarters in a meter and it lets me cross the bridge? I don't get it. Where's this toll? No, we just mail it to you when you get home.
Yeah.
It's lame.
Disgusting.
It's gross.
Yeah. I see Scotty Rose over here on YouTube is getting busy in the chats now. And he did bring up something that we're not going to talk about today, but I know that we talked about in the past, talking about the Noahide laws. Let's just mark that coming and happening in Jerusalem in November. Let's bookmark that out, Cass. We got to bring that up again. It just doesn't fit in tonight's show. Stay on topic, Scotty. Come on now. I like what you're saying, though.
But Scotty,
he's on the right track. He's on the right track.
Yeah, Scotty, thanks for bringing that up. The Noahide laws creep me out. I do not like them. But Music Lover made a comment earlier that it's true. I mean, if we are in the end times, this is the stuff we're going to see. I mean, really is. For sure. So let me read a couple more things that might really get you mad about this technology and the surveillance stuff here. Your phone, as I was talking before, Outcast, may be worse than any camera. And I believe it. Here is something that genuinely unsettled me when researching this topic. As much as we worry about cameras on poles, our own smartphones may pose an even bigger threat to our privacy. Exactly, they do. I came across a demonstration showing a flock camera actively pinging a Bluetooth signal back and forth with a nearby phone. Even though the company insists it only reads license plates, there is also a newer technology called Signal Trace. Remember that, Signal Trace, made by a company called Leonardo. You might remember that company, that can pick up the unique wireless signals from your phone, smartwatch, fitness tracker, and even the tire pressures sensors in your car, and stitch them together into what they call a digital fingerprint. That means it can figure out who you are, who you regularly ride with, even in someone else's car, without ever needing to read a license plate at all. The NRA, the National Rifle Association, actually published a warning about this very technology, worried it could be used to track law-abiding gun owners to a driving range or to a gun store. Do you remember, oh boy, this must have been really early on when I started talking about our phones and how they will figure out the way we walk in our gait and
it's very precise with their locations within feet where your phone is. You know, you can track your phone within a foot. You know, you can go when you're on the maps and you can look and you see where your phone is. It can track you around a building, right? It can track you within feet of where you are exactly. Whether you're inside a building, in a basement, you know, at a warehouse, doing shopping, whatever it is, they know where you're at. They even know which floor you're on. They know the way you walk, you know, the way you gate stuff. You know what I'd like to bring up too? There's flock cameras everywhere, especially. I did look at this in Utah, Outcast, all over the university, the campus, and all around the town of Orem, Utah. There's flock cameras everywhere over there. Jeez. What happened over there just last September?
Is that where Charlie Kirk was killed?
Yeah. They did something to Charlie Kirk over there.
Yeah, and they can't find any footage. They can't get any good footage off of Tyler Robinson?
They just had that preliminary hearing about it, and they brought up zero flock imagery of anybody over there. What happened at January 6th, Outcast, afterwards, when they started tracking people's phones that were nearby?
Yep.
They knew everybody that was there. None of that kind of stuff came up in Tyler Robinson's preliminary trial hearing. None of that came up. Wonder why.
Everything is so fake.
And gay.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Scotty says, if I told 20-year-old me about this stuff, I wouldn't believe it. And I was so into conspiracy stuff back then. This stuff is so crazy. You know what? I did believe it when I was young. I always believed this stuff.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, I knew it was possible and it was coming, but I just was hopeful that it wouldn't be within our lifetime. But man, as soon as those cell phones came out, did it accelerate like crazy or what, dude?
Big time.
I mean,
yeah, the smartphones, all the smart stuff. You know, look, I've got this old thing here. It's smart. You guys know what smart means, right? I know there's a lot of new people here. Self-monitoring analysis reporting technology, SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Now you've probably heard it if you listen to the show at all. At the end of every show, you hear me and Outcast saying self-monitoring analysis reporting technology. Remember that, Outcast?
Yeah, and I marveled at it. I was like, no way.
Yeah, you'll hear us talking about that every time. But yeah, that's what that is. You know, we talked about the Internet of Bodies. You know, so think about this, Outcast. Think about Flock. Think about all the surveillance. Think about your phones. And guess what? They're trying to get all of this stuff smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually, because they what they want is for this to be inside of our bodies, in our heads, just within us. Okay, so there will not be a physical piece of technology that you can just toss in your pocket or throw in your glove box. Now, phones and everything aren't mandatory yet. But look at me, Outcast. I think I'm 100% sure that they are going to make it mandatory that every person in our country has to have a cell phone, some sort of a device. What if I don't want it? What if Grandpa doesn't want one? What if Grandpa wants to just live back like he did back in the 70s or 80s? He doesn't want it, doesn't need it. You want to call me, you pick up the old phone and you dial me in and I'll talk to you that way. But I think they're going to jam this right down our throats and say, no, everybody has to be forced to have a phone, a smartphone. If not, you're going to be cast out and you will not be able to participate in our new society.
Yeah, when you say it like that, I could see it being like for the person who doesn't want the phone, like a grandpa, they're going to highly encourage a free wearable, like a bracelet.
Yes. So what I'm saying is the technology is going to get smaller, smaller, smaller because they already have the chip. They need to get the chip in you. Okay. So if they keep making the technology smaller, because that's already part of the plan, they already have, the goal is here. They got to get you from the phone, into a watch, into a ring, into a contact lens, and then into the brain.
Yep.
That's the way it's going. And it's not going to change. We can't, that's Revelation stuff right there. That's Book of Revelation stuff. We're going to go through it. We can't stop it. As much as we want to stop it, as much as we talk about it, as much as we patriot and we, Fourth Amendment right and all this stuff, I don't think we're going to stop it, Outcast. How many times have I said on the show in the past, we are going to go through these things. and it's going to be up to our spiritual intellect to guide us through. We're not, there's no escaping this.
And that leads me to a thought that I just had while you were talking, Jesse, making your great points there. You know, I feel like, I mean, I'm sure our listeners can relate to this. The people who can't hear, I want people to think about friends and family members who they've tried to get through to, but they just don't get it. Right. Well, part of that could be the fact that they're vaccinated. I hate to pick on the vaccinated, but the vaccinated, it is proven that their pineal glands are destroyed and irreparably destroyed. So you might be dealing with people who don't have actual rationale. That's the first phase. They're going to march headlong into this technology to gain an advantage because their brains don't work right to begin with. We may have already entered into a phase where you've got the saved who have a deeper discernment with the veil lifted that can see a bigger picture. And then the masses, I don't mean to be mean. I have friends who are vaxxed. I don't mean any disrespect to them, but there you might see a faction of those types of people who are going to go headlong for this. And you're going to see a proliferation of the culture. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that those of us who are truly in pursuit of knowing God and have surrendered our heart to Jesus and have the Holy Spirit, and we're marked with that, we're probably a minority that's beyond just what you think our churchgoers are. It's going to even be smaller than just the church-going population. So let's say 65 to 75% of the population identifies as Christian. Of that, I'm just going to throw a round number out there, 25 to 30% actually go to church on a weekly basis. And of that, maybe 15% of those people who are actually in hot pursuit of God and not practicing religiosity and performance-based religion, but rather living by faith. That's how minute we're going to be. So that split off, it's going to be a vast majority are going to run headlong into the technology. And then a very few of us, and that's where the persecution comes in, because you really won't be allowed to participate, but you'll have free will. You'll have freedom of thought. You're going to have everything that is going to be more valuable than gold to you when you see how the brainless masses march. Because we've been watching our whole life, Jesse. I mean, think about the people you know who are just really bad, blind consumerists. They just consume. And it's the latest TV, it's the latest car, it's the latest technology, it's the latest. And they get on a treadmill in this direction, and they never get ahead because they can't save enough money because they're always buying the latest. Yeah. And you couldn't talk sense into them if you wanted. Then you got people like you who say, I want to live as simply as possible, and I'm going to raise chickens, and I just want to be, it's hard to be completely off grid, but I want to try to live as off grid as much as possible. It's going to be like that. You're going to see this splitting away. Yeah. The lantern versus the cell phone.
Look at this thing. I love my lanterns, man. You got me one. You got me I got that one over in the shop, and I'm cleaning it up. But yeah. Look at this. This is my little 200A, this little Coleman, this little red one. I have two of these things. This one's from the 1977. The other one that I have is 1958. I love old technology because you know what? This thing works. It works great. It's got the beautiful sound, the hum.
It doesn't need an app. It doesn't need an app to work.
No app, no Bluetooth. It just fires up. I put I push. Here, looking at the cameras all backwards. Okay, I just pump up the little deal here and light it and give it some fuel. And I love Coleman stuff. It's the old stuff. Of course, unfortunately, they don't make this anymore because government told them they can't do this stuff anymore. So now it's all propane stuff. But I've got so many of these.
That's a beauty.
I love this. They call this one the cherry bomb. Yep, I love this. It's got the round glass on it. Sorry for you guys in the audio, you can't see it. Yeah, only these ones have the round glass. Yeah.
Yep. And the bottom takes a fuel, not propane.
Coleman white gas. Yep, I love it. These things are awesome. But these, I'm telling you what, in the end, low tech is going to beat high tech, and you better have some low tech stuff laying around when the power goes out, and or here's another thing too that's going to happen, I believe. Fisher says, yeah, they the straight is gate, or no, the straight is the gate. Straight is the gate, right? And then the path is narrow, is what he's saying. No, not all Coleman lanterns are green. Now I have a brown one. I have the red ones. I have mostly green ones. Yeah, but there's a bunch. One day maybe I'll have to do something on there. Yep. No, I've got all different color ones. There's light blue ones. Crazy. There's some military green ones. There's a lot of phones. I collect all kinds of craziness. Do you want to see what it looks like? Oh, we got to end this show, Outcast. We're running long in the tooth. So this is the last paragraph right here. What's it look like when it goes too far? I'm talking about all this technology. I don't think this is some far off hypothetical. I shared a clip of what daily life already looks like in China, where there are roughly 600 million surveillance cameras, one for every 2 citizens, feeding into a social credit system. That's what we're leading to. We're going to the social credit score. It tracks nearly everything a person does. Tucker Carlson also made a point that stuck with me. He says that we are told we must build the same kind of surveillance system here in America to, quote, compete with China. When we really, no, I don't want to compete with China in that. When we really would just be building our own version of the very thing we claim to oppose. History has shown me a troubling pattern too. Whenever a free society slides toward tyranny, the first people silenced are usually the ones who speak up and ask hard questions, not the people who quietly go along with everything. And there are a lot of people right now just swallowing the whole thing down. We talked about 6G, Scotty, last week. What do you know about 6G and how's it going to be used? All the crazy stuff. 6G is going to be insane when it's fully imposed, right? You just mount all that stuff up with all this technology that's coming, and I'll tell you what, I just want to be off the grid. I would love to be off the grid. Now, what they're going to have some sort of a quote emergency, Outcast, that is going to take out the internet on purpose. And the way for us to get back on the internet is to give over our biometrics. All right. I'm talking, iris scan, retina, stuff like these, our driver's license stuff. They're going to want all that stuff to let us get back on a newer, safer internet. They're going to use things like right now, there's so many bots out there, right? There's so many bots, and I think this is intentional. You see bots on pretty much every post out there on social media, right? And it's enough to make people get all mad and upset and angry, right? Well, let's make you a safer, bot-free internet. All you have to do is give us your biometrics and your scans, your ID and all that stuff. And wherever you go, you'll have your own unique ID to get in, and you can join up. But just don't say too much bad, negative things about the government, because we know exactly who you are because your special ID that you gave us when you came back in. So we're going to be faced with that too. Fisher says, I'm seriously considering actually wearing tinfoil hats. Well, give it a shot, man. So a lot of people do it before. Yeah. Look, I'm not opposed to that either when the situation is right. You can make Faraday stuff around your home too. If you have buildings and all these things, copper grounding hat. Yeah, you can do all that stuff. Scotty again says, I heard it needs transmitters everywhere because the signals don't go as far. Yeah, the waves are getting smaller yet stronger. If that makes any sense, the millimeter waves on these 6Gs and all this stuff, which means they're going to be condensed closer and closer together, which is exactly what they want, so they can have a nice tight grid. They just can't jump to, whatever these grids are. We could still be using 1 and 2G for our phones and all that stuff. It wouldn't make any difference. Speed might be a little bit different. Who cares? But the way that this G stuff is going, these gigahertz, millimeter wave kind of things are going, that's for the coming AI data surveillance system of all things. Okay. That's why they need these higher numbers. Us regular people out here, we don't need these higher numbers to make phone calls and do all these things that we're doing. We don't need all that stuff. That's for them. That technology is for them to shepherd over us. Think about this, Outcast. Flock. Who watches over the flock? What's flock watching over? Think about flock and sheeple. The flock.
It's a good point. Wow.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Now look at the, I'm going to put on the screen right now our intro episode. Look at this. At the very bottom, you'll see all those sheep down there with collars. See that?
What's funny about this too is, how the devil tries to steal or impersonate or hack or, do an invert or whatever.
Yeah.
Jesus talks about the sheep and the goats. And when God comes to judge, he's going to take the sheep to his right and the goats to his left, and the goats are going to be condemned. And being, a goat is defiant and a sheep will obey when it hears its master's voice, it obeys. It knows who its master is. If we're tapped into who God is and who Christ is in our life, we're going to hear his promptings, his instruction, his call. We're going to know when it's him, not an imposter, not a psyop. We're going to know when it's actually Jesus by his voice.
Yep.
So that's a positive way of being a sheep, when you are a sheep for Christ. But there's also worldly sheep, and it's interesting that the devil is calling those who he wants to control his sheep, when Jesus is calling those who are obedient to his voice his sheep. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah. Does it make... Okay, so
to me, it's an inversion of truth.
Exactly. Just like Hollywood does the inversion of the truth, the biblical truth. It's the same thing. Yes. And they like to use these words and all these things like flock. Who came up with flock? And then you can see the Flock Watch down there is a livestock management tool for farmers. Yeah, I heard about that one too, Flock Watch. So that, who that is, that's the same people, man. The same people are doing all this nonsense. I don't like it.
They might also want to hijack God's flock. That's their goal.
Yeah.
Interesting to consider.
Palantir is from Lord of the Rings, the all-seeing eye. Yes, it is.
Yes, Sauron. Yeah, Sauron.
Yep.
Yeah. When you watch that movie, the way that all-seeing eye is, it's so creepy, and that's a good analogy. I like that, Scotty.
Me too. There was another one that we did too. What was that? Do you remember? That they did all that stuff on. I forgot which one it was.
I don't remember.
Do you hear that?
I do. I like it.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure it's something new that I'm messing with here. That we got going. But yeah, the Sauron, the Eye of Sauron. I don't have an encyclopedia knowledge of Middle Earth. Is that another name for the Eye of Sauron? Yes, it is. Yep. Well, listen, Outcast, we have we've done quite a bit of lifting tonight, and I like it.
Yes.
And, I see a lot of new people in the chats, and I just want to appreciate that. Hey, if you guys like what you enjoyed, if you enjoyed what we did tonight and what we're messing with, please hit the like buttons wherever you're at. Like, subscribe, whatever it is, please hit those. That helps. I'm looking right now. We have not nearly enough likes as to what we have watching. Rumble, come on. There's only 5 thumbs up on that. And then let's see what we got on YouTube. YouTube is... probably less than that. Oh, there's 9 over on YouTube. So thank you, YouTube. Keep on. We need double-digit numbers. Come on. We're trying to build our YouTube channel, you guys. And if you are watching on YouTube, please share it. Please tell people about us over there. We're trying to get to 1,000 by next week. I know it's gonna be tough to do. I say that every week, but we're only we're less than 500 now, I guess. And of course, we've only been on YouTube for about a year now. I put us on YouTube just about last year. So we're trying to get there and get growing just to make it work. So I'm looking over some of these chats. I think we need to go over our final thoughts from you, Outcast.
Well, I just was randomly flipping through my Bible for this last segment here, and just this kind of jumped out at me. So I'm going to read it to everybody, and hopefully it will have it'll speak for itself, I think.
Okay.
This is from Romans 1, starting at verse 18. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of men who suppress the truth by their wickedness, since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that men are without excuse. For although they knew God, neither glorified him as God, nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like mortal man and birds and animals and reptiles. Therefore, God gave them over to their sinful desires of their hearts and sexual impurity for their degrading of their bodies with one another. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator, who is forever praised. Amen. There's a lot of ways to interpret that. I'm kind of looking at it like, you see people getting excited because they created a robot that can fight in a ring, in China.
Yeah.
And they're excited. And it's sort of, it has,
weird.
a head. Yeah. It has a head and arm and body and legs, and it can fight. Like, it's mimicking humanity. And they're more excited about that than what God has created, which is right in front of them.
Yeah.
They exchanged the truth of God for a lie. These people thought they were wise in their own eyes, but they became fools. How many highly educated people that go to colleges seem to lack basic understanding to look at the world with gratitude, the gratitude for a creator. They lack the ability to see people for their value, but rather they get excited by technology, things that are created by the hands. I mean, I'm going to recommend people read this over tonight when they go to bed. It's Romans 1, starting at verse 18 through 25, and just ponder how it applies to everything we were talking about tonight. How excited do we get by technology? But really, at the end of the day, shouldn't we be excited by what God has done? And He is far beyond technology. The human body is incredible compared to what they're clapping their hands over right now. And you know what? God's judgment is going to be harsh. So once again, say it all the time. Focus your eyes on what is unseen, for what is seen is temporary and what is unseen is eternal.
Yep.
That's my final thoughts for tonight.
I like it, brother, because we are going to be put through it. We are going to be put through it no matter what. Again, I just don't think, I hate to be black-pilled, and I don't think I am being black-pilled. What I'm saying is get ready for this fight that's coming, because we're not going to be able to thwart it. So however you can sharpen up your weapons, sharpen your swords, you're going to have to do it. And especially for the loved ones around you, start sharpening up them swords. And I think that's what we do on this show every week, Outcast. I think we are doing some sword sharpening and trying to get prepared, because we're going to be forced through these things again.
Jesse, you're making me think of something else. It's kind of random, but I just got to say it. I prayed with a young man this Sunday, and kudos to him. He's searching for God. He doesn't, he's hungry, but he's not sure if he believes, and that kind of thing. But one of the things that he did in his pursuit of searching for God before he came to church was he took a sabbatical from drinking and smoking pot. Now, what I'm getting at here is, will drinking and smoking pot keep you out of heaven? I can't say that. I don't know. But I do think that, I've said it on the show in the past too, our physical and mental well-being is directly linked to our spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what Jesse and I are talking about when we talk about God and focusing on God and that kind of thing, if it sounds like foolishness to you, I have a challenge for you. Set aside your self-medication for a minute. Take a medication vacation. Take a sabbatical from recreational drug use and alcohol use or anything else you may be dabbling in. Even if you have it under control, I'm not saying you don't. Just cleanse your body a little bit and then start praying and pursuing God. And I have a hunch that He would see that obedience and He would respond in kind and give you a little something, show you a sign, speak to you in some unique way that means something to you in particular. But as long as you keep clogging your senses with that kind of stuff, don't be surprised if you don't sense God. Yeah. Not a hard rule, but just something to think about. Something I just want to God put on my heart to say.
I like that. I like that a lot. I would even say experiment with it. Now, I'm not a big drinker and all that stuff, but I can tell you less and less. The older I get, I just don't like it anymore. You know what I mean? I like a nice hearty bourbon here and there, but it's just to think about that right now is just it's harder and harder for me to even enjoy drinking anymore. And when I don't, I'm telling you, when I do end up reading the Bible, it hits harder. It hits different.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that, yeah, it's definitely a food for thought on that.
And I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg. I think it's also what may be happening is once you surrender your heart to Jesus, and you take on the Holy Spirit, those things don't work for you like they used to. And you're happier, you're lighter because Christ is sharing your burdens.
Yeah.
A life without Christ is burdensome. and it's lighter with Christ. So the reason that we drink and self-medicate with those types of things, like I used to be a big Scotch drinker and a cigar smoker. I loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to escape the mundanity and the difficulty of life because the burden was so heavy without Christ. So with him, I don't feel like I need those types of things as much. So I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg with us, but I like to think that maybe it might be worth an experiment to set those things aside and then see if you hear the voice of God a little clearer, if the Bible makes more sense, like you said.
Yeah.
So just thinking out loud.
Yep. No, I like it. I like it a lot, Outcast. Thank you. That's awesome. Well, look, you guys, it looks like we came to the final. We're here at the end of the night. We actually a little bit over. Dang it, Outcast. How do we keep doing this? It's me. It's my fault. I know we do. We're supposed to be ending at 9:00, and here it is, like 9:30 again. So, oh, brother. It's okay. Oh, did you like that sound right there?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, it's something different, something I'm messing with. I was going to use it tonight for something else, but that's all right. We'll do it again later.
And Jesse, I want to say I like your shirt a lot, and you're giving me Magnum PI vibes right now.
Thank you. Well, this is one of my gun shirts. It's it's a retro rifle is what it is. I don't know if you can see it. There's a somewhere in here. There's a bunch of
guns floating around.
Yeah, this one right here. This is my 38 special gun.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of these, and they're a lot of fun. I really like these. The sound on is kind of quiet on this side. Yeah, I've got the sound really, really low right now. It's real low. I can crank it up a little bit, but yeah, this is just one of my gun shirts, Outcast, and they're comfortable. This is what I'm saying. These are retro rifle, and I wear a lot of their shirts. I really enjoy it, and people like them too. And then they start looking closer, like, wait a minute, there's a gun in there. I'm like, well, there's a bunch of guns in here. They're all over. Yeah, it's just funny. Cool. I like it. Retro rifle. If you're listening, I'm repping your stuff because it's fun and I like it. I wore they have one that's called Taco Night. It's got tacos and guns and mustaches all over it, and it's awesome. And I wore that Saturday. I wore that Saturday to a birthday party. That's ready. Scotty says, a great show. I'm ready for the fight. Well, excellent, Scotty. I'm glad you are too. Yeah. God bless all you guys. A lot of new people tonight. Welcome to everybody and our a lot of interaction out there. So thank you guys so much. I enjoyed it. I like being here with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this stuff down, Outcast, because we got to get into our outro stuff. So listen, you guys, I just want to say a big shout out to all of our supporters tonight, and especially Amber Dawn, because she jumped in and bought us a coffee today. So thank you, Amber Dawn, Outcast. I'll spill you a little bit of that coffee later, maybe in the morning or something. All right. So don't forget about our item of the week, you guys, is the book down there by Chuck Missler. Go down there. If you want to support the show, just click the link right there. Get the book. It's like $12. You'll like it. Chuck Missler can't be messed with, right? The guy's awesome. I like him. And so pick up one of his reads if you're interested in it. So listen, please leave us a 5-star rating and review if the situation fits for you guys. All right. That's what we're talking about. Over on Spotify, Castbox, where else? iTunes, all those things, Outcast. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review because it helps the algorithm. I'm sick of the algorithm stuff. It's just another one of those nonsense things. So listen, join us live here every Monday night, 7 to 9-ish p.m. All right. I'm going to release a scratching right there on pill.net. So you guys go over there and have fun with that. It's released. Yes. Thank you so much. Listen, Ms. Melody, Trusty Turnip, Jack Pine couldn't make it tonight. Music Lover. Who else did we have over there doing our mods tonight, Outcast? But, well, thank you guys. You guys know what you're doing. And all the new people, welcome. Glad you guys came here. We had a good time with you guys tonight. Like I said, let me see. I'm not confirmed for next week on who our guest is, but it's going to be a fun one. I'm still trying to line it up, so I'm not going to say any names, Outcast, what I'm saying. Music Lover says, this has been a fantastic show. Thank you guys for a great show tonight. Have a good night. Yes. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Fisher, and all the new ones, Scotty, and who was that one lady? Shannon. Carol. Thank you so much. Awesome. Listen, you guys, do not be threatened by the mainstream media fear campaigns. All right. Rescue those in darkness around you and do not comply with unjust laws, mandates, or regulations. And trust your gut always. You know why? Because that is God talking to you. Christ is King. That's what I'm saying. And again, you guys, thank you so much for watching the show tonight. Spending a little time with Jesse and Outcast. Having a good time with us. God bless and stay dangerous, brothers and sisters. Stay dangerous.